We're calling the meeting for Tuesday, April 21st at 5 p.m. to order. And welcoming guests, welcome. Welcome one and all. Welcome to anyone online. Approving the minutes of the April 7th, 2026 select board meeting. Their motion.
I'll make that motion.
I think everything's over there, is it not? From Bridget.
Do we need it right now?
No, there's a bunch of stuff. I just want to make sure that I get to it.
That's good.
Okay, I'm sorry. Was there a motion?
Yes, I motion to move.
Okay, was there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of approving the minutes of April 7th, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Did everyone get a chance to review the March 3rd minutes?
Yeah.
For town meeting?
Yes.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
I will make that motion.
Okay, Paul moves. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Larry seconds. All those in favor of approving the town meeting minutes of March 3rd, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so make sure we all sign that before we leave, guys. And now we're approving the agenda for April 21st, 2026, and considering any amendments to the agenda. Bridget mentioned something downstairs to me that she needs a signature for,
Lift maintenance.
yeah, lift maintenance, for lift maintenance. So it has to be inspected. It's not on here, but we pay for it out of the building fund. So I just want to add that under other business, and we'll just vote to approve that I sign that document. So I just wanted that in the record. Okay. So is there a motion to approve the agenda for April 21st with that amendment for the elevator lift inspection?
All motion.
Can I add, I want to have,
Oh, sure.
I have 2 points to raise in like the other business.
Okay, yep.
So one involves the special budget meeting on Thursday, and the other involves some correspondence I recently received about the scope and responsibilities of what a select board member does. So we can incorporate those into the other business.
Okay. What about the thing at 6:30 with the select board discussion of May 9th special town meeting? Is that going to fit into your?
It's the
section or-
Thursday budget meeting at Romney.
Oh, it's a Thursday budget meeting you want to talk about.
I just
Okay,
want to clarify like
gotcha.
whether we're invited or not.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll talk about that in other business as well. So with those amendments, is there a motion? Zara, you moved?
I moved.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Larry seconds. All those in favor of approving the agenda with said amendments, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, 5:05, we're right on target for Kevin. Where's Kevin? Here he is. Kevin, I don't know if people can see you over there, but if you want to come up here, maybe. Maybe. I don't know if the owl will see you.
Of course. I will always see. Okay. So I'm here as the vice chair of the FIT committee. As you know, we've been looking at the town garage site. We're at a point where we're starting to make some plans. I think our next step is to do a charrette, inviting the public in to look at every option possible. But one of the things that we need to do is a wetlands delineation. We know there are wetlands on there. Some of them are mapped. I got several bids. And Bear Creek Environmental, Mary Nealon, gave us one of the best prices. And she is very generously donating her time on this.
Who was that?
Mary Nealon of Bear Creek Environmental. It's Nealon.
Thank you.
I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And basically what this gets us is we know where the wetlands are, and we'll know where we can and cannot build. And she'll also survey for any endangered species, like plants, et cetera. So, and part of this is meeting with someone from the state just to look at everything that she's mapped out. And then the final result will give us a map of where everything is. And then we can plan from there on what our next proposals are.
Okay.
So basically, we need a little bit of money.
And this would come out of the building fund.
This
You're talking about the town's highway building fund, right?
would come out of the town garage building.
Oh, town garage, okay.
Dorinda did check back on that, and this does qualify as
Okay.
as a building expense out of that.
Kevin, timeline on this, if we were to approve?
The summer season, so what I've left it with Mary is that, how it fits into her schedule and her associate schedule. I know she does book up fairly quickly. But since she's volunteering her time, I thought we could let her schedule it more than us.
Yeah.
And truthfully, you know, I'm hoping to get it done before the end of June. But this is gonna be, you know, the whole planning thing is a year's plus long process.
It's a first step.
It's the
We've
first
got to
step.
figure out the
Yeah.
septic and the water and all of that stuff, but this is a
Once
first
we've
step.
got this and then we come up with our final listing, that's when we need a
We'll know
larger
what-
chunk for, you know, we'll do you know, put out the bid to do all the planning and that, at that point. But that's a long ways away. There's a lot of planning to do before that.
Okay, cool. Anyone have any questions for Kevin about this project? Okay. Is there a motion to approve spending 1559? I had on the motion up to 2,000 just in case it changed when you had sent it to us. Or if she finds something and she's like, oh, I needed to add this little bit on because of whatever. So I set it to not to exceed
I
$2,000.
appreciate it.
I'd make the motion.
Alrighty.
I'll second.
All those in favor of this motion? Say
Aye.
Aye. Okay, go at it and tell Mary, thank you for donating her
Yes.
time. We really
Thank you,
appreciate that.
All right, well, thank you.
Does
Thank you,
he-
Kevin.
Does
Have a good
Leslie
night.
sign this? Do you need to sign it back?
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Kevin? Does Kevin need it?
Kevin,
Oh, okay, never mind.
Oh, I don't know, you need
Yeah,
a
did-
copy?
Do you need a signed copy?
Probably.
Kevin, will you make a copy and put it on the desk? Please.
Of the sign, of the
Will you
signature.
make a copy of this one with signature and put it on the desk?
thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, next is review and adoption of the Middlesex Local Emergency Management Plan. So, love that name. Not to be confused with a lump, but limp. And we, okay, so, we are, Bridget made copies for everyone, which
And this is the copy I think you have.
in your, okay, that's the copy I'm gonna sign. Okay, so this is, in your stack. So I just want to go through what's in here. Really, the most important thing is, actually, I believe if they're all stapled the same way, is the plan itself at the back. Because most of this stuff are what are called annexes, attachments in case we needed them. And I don't expect you to read through all those attachments.
Liz, if I can interrupt, everybody has a copy to take home and then there's a signature one.
Yeah.
For the group. That's great.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And yes, and this should be something that you just have in your house, just in case, you know, we need to like look at it at some point and have a hard copy. So. So it kind of starts after the procurement policy. So what's included in these annexes are, we included our procurement policy in case some emergency happens and purchases need to be made. It's in here that talks about what we can make for purchases. We have the the biggest thing here is the dam, the Middlesex Dam, which is just down by Roots. They have a plan, an emergency plan. So if something were to go wrong with the dam, all the information about that is here and the contacts for that. So that's an annex. And then the other annex is our Rumney School use during emergencies. That's actually the second page in. So the emergency plan really states like what people's jobs are during an emergency. And we have right now, Eric as our emergency management director and Colin Marshall as our emergency management coordinator. So those names and all the positions and things are on the front page of this document here. And then in the back, you'll also see us again. And you'll see other people too, right? You'll see like you'll see the crew long-term recovery group. You'll see people in town who have heavy equipment, who in case we need to call them because they've got heavy equipment, we have their information. So anyway, this is what we use. There's things about what happens with pets.
Can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Is Jeff Kuntz still our EMS chief?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
He is, yeah. Yeah, so that was part of what Colin, Eric, Sid Pollock, and I did for 3 hours on a Friday. We went through and updated everything here. So like added Bridget's name, because Sarah was there. Because Jeff had been in some places that he's not now. I was in places that Eric and Colin are now. So this is what we do every year. This is not to be confused with the hazard mitigation plan, which is every 5 years that we did a few years ago, but this gets updated every year and it's due by June 1st. So tonight, what we're doing is approving it and warning it on our meeting, which is what we have, and approving it so that Eric can sign as the that he certifies because he's taken these trainings. Incident management system trainings. He'll sign here and then you'll authorize me to sign to adopt this local emergency management plan. So, and then it gets filed away till there's an emergency and the state gets a copy of it as well. So are there any questions about this plan?
Well done, folks.
Yes, thank you for taking.
Well, it's pretty much a template.
Well,
Thanks.
take the win when you.
3 hours
Yeah.
on a Friday.
On a Friday.
On a Friday, yeah, I know. We were hoping that we were going to get out early, and somehow it just went on and on, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Okay. So is there a motion to approve the LEMP for Middlesex for 2026?
I'll make the motion.
All right, Zara moves. Is there a second?
I will second.
And Paul seconds. All those in favor of approving the 2026 LEMP plan and having Eric and Liz sign it, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the ayes have it. Thank you.
So you don't need all of us on the select board members page?
I don't know. Is there something that says that?
Yeah.
No, you know what that is? This is actually a copy of our purchasing policy.
Oh, okay.
So that's not,
Gotcha. Procurement. Gotcha.
yeah.
Oh, okay, Liz.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
okay. That was my error.
oh, I signed the wrong one, but it doesn't matter.
I have another one if you need it.
I mean, this is what I have in this one folder.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, here. Yeah, I'll do that one.
Here's another one if you must.
That's all right.
Okay. That just has the procurement policy in the back of it.
Yeah, and this we don't need to sign. Okay.
Something, Brad? Yes, that's
But this is Liz's copy. So I do though, recommend that you guys keep this at home in like a place in case, you know, we're, so just so you guys know, back in the day, way pre-flood, when I was on the emergency management, what was it called? The committee. I advocated and got money every year, although we never spent it, for walkie-talkies, because I thought we might need walkie-talkies. We never bought them, but we did have a little line item for us to have like things that we could communicate with when the cell phone systems went down. Let's hope we never need those, but
Do we have a satellite phone?
no, that's like what we would need. Yeah, something like that.
They actually don't really work that well.
I don't know, what do you guys use, pagers?
Radios?
You have radios, yeah, and they work like from your house to way over there?
Pretty much.
Okay, yeah, see, we need radios.
Well, and Colin and some other people are talking about some mesh system as well, so there are a bunch of communication.
All right, good,
Colin has a plan.
good. I don't need one, I can let Colin have.
Yep.
I can let Colin have my walkie. Okay. Wow, we're really killing time here. All right, highway report. And FEMA road work update from Eric.
Equipment, we're good. Have the guys hauling gravel to the shop, trying to eat up some of our gravel budget we haven't used yet. I've been spot grading and touching up rough spots on the roads, and today I had a meeting on Lower Sunnybrook and Norton Road with A&R and Fitzgerald. For the upcoming one.
Okay, good. And that went well.
Yeah.
Good. I do have a question about, this is just because I can't remember how it works. You know, those giant frost
Yeah.
You can't grade them until they've what, sunk or something?
Well, they're gonna thaw out.
They have to thaw out and then they kind of settle?
If you cut them, they're gonna be muddy.
Yeah, okay.
It's like popping a stab.
Someone did
Oh.
my front porch for him.
Oh, that was me. Did you mention that? You had to wait?
I did a
Okay.
whole explainer.
Okay, good.
Why you can't grade the
Why you
roads.
can't grade those roads? Okay, good, all right. Thank you for doing that.
Sure.
Because I'm like, oh, I wonder if when this gets graded, does it have to like
You
stand?
can only make people so informed.
Right. I try to stay off front for you. Right? Okay.
No argument there.
Okay. All righty, and thank you for that. Do you think the roads are freezing again? No. Not with this cold weather, they don't freeze, right? Okay, good. They're done.
The
They're
top
done
rail.
frozen.
The top might have a little bit this morning, but
Yeah, nothing. Okay, good. So we don't have to worry about a double whammy of frost heats or anything
No.
like that. Okay, good. All right, then we have the access permit for the resident. I think we didn't know the name of it, so I said a resident of Melly Chase Road. Who was that for?
you know what? I don't have it.
You don't know how it was?
Forgot it. That
Okay.
truck.
It's in the truck?
You'll want to get it.
So go get it. All right, so we'll skip over that. Zara, you want to move on to
Sure.
for FEMA?
Sure. Really, Eric and I are just going line by line yet again through bills. So unless the Brook Road money has landed, no. Yeah. There's really no change. I did have a question that I sent to you and Dorinda.
I answered it.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
We had we had several bills showing two different numbers, so I needed Cheryl's help on what it was.
It was the one where they messed up, Dirt Tech messed up the bill for $112,400. We voided a check and we done a check,
So was it the bigger amount or the smaller amount?
the smaller amount. I sent an email to you and it has the
Okay.
whole thing. And also I said that Excel spreadsheet has everything for 2024 on it.
So oops. $1,000 more because I made a mistake.
Is that a good thing?
We're getting $100,000 more because I made a mistake. I mean, yeah, we get to keep it.
Jeez, that's a little strange.
Well, hey, it's hard to read those Dirt Tech bills. It was an honest mistake.
Oh, okay, because yeah, all right.
Yeah, and it was that number at one point. So that's anyway.
I see, yeah, okay.
That's it. That and the fact that BRIC, Building Resilient Infrastructure for Communities, I think,
Yeah.
is that is actually back. And
Yeah,
so
I
because
saw
we had started the process with the Great Brook Futures project, that's Mike Klein is spearheading. we're hoping that will get some money towards it.
Okay. That's the one, is that the one where you put in a lot of different options of things that you wanted to have that grant cover?
No, that's the one where, I mean, I had to send Mike's resume, my resume, and Sandy's resume, and this whole write-up about what we've done with UVM and the LiDAR, and it was
Okay.
a lot of stuff that Mike put together.
Okay. All right, so we're still just waiting for some money, but thank you for that. Okay, he now has this plan. This is for Cadence, Shay, and Chad Wozniak, okay? And it looks like they want to put a driveway permit on Nellie Chase.
Yes.
Okay, is there anything about this that is
No,
special?
it's right on top of a knoll, so.
Okay. Minimum 15-inch
Yeah.
diameter culvert.
Yeah, there's a ditch there, but it doesn't take a lot of water being at the top.
Okay. Anyone have any questions about this driveway permit? I think. No. Or where was it not?
One thing that I do want to make sure of is that, with driveway permits, sight lines, that this is the only time that we're able to enforce good driveways, and I think it's important that because of the way they're written,
This one has,
I was gonna say probably not an issue here, but
What's
just,
it like for other cars?
safely being able to pull out
Yeah.
of the driveway by not having to creep into the
Yeah.
road to do so. So there is some verbiage in there about, clearing enough sight line to be able to do that safely, and if it's bad enough, it maybe even not qualify in that spot. It might have to find a different spot.
I
So,
see, okay.
I only say that just as we take over culverts and things like that, yeah.
I agree.
I mean, that comes up in the DRB rarely, but from time to time when we're looking at like a subdivision with a maybe less than optimal driveway cut,
Right.
for future, like, and if that influences the way they're able to subdivide the property within Middlesex zoning regs. So obviously, we're not asking, it's not Eric's job or these applicants necessarily to like predict what is going to happen 20 years from now on this parcel. But, I appreciate the sort of gravity for something like this because it does have bigger implications potentially. And I appreciate the thought that goes into it rather than simply like rubber stamping this. So I trust that discretion is exercised with care when it's reviewed and presented to us, and just feel obligated to make a point to say that it does reverberate wider than just the driveway itself from time to time. I'm good with it.
Like the South Bear Swamp by the Britskys, remember that whole
Right.
review?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, just the contours and everything.
Yeah,
else.
there was
It is-
this concern of a driveway, and then if it washed out, it would go into the person's
Right.
house.
That's
Right, those are the kinds of,
on-
yeah.
Right.
on some-
Absolutely.
on some like permitting and things that have come before the board on roads that have very steep slopes, and now with all like the flooding, and this was sort of like raw after the first and second flood. It's like, well, gosh, like, could you put this driveway somewhere where it won't have such a dramatic slope or incline into the main road? Because that, you can basically have your driveway as steep as you want it to be. There's nothing in our zoning regs, as far as I know, that says you can't have a driveway like a 45-degree incline. Your development is limited, but driveways are not. So that's like, okay, well, is your driveway gonna just turn into a water slide on the next flood and, knock out everybody's driveways
Or worse, an ice
Right.
slide.
a mile down?
Yeah.
And we really only have discretion within the right of way pertaining to Eric's side of this, right?
Yeah.
So
There's
it's
no-
100% true, for sure.
All right, so is there a motion to approve the driveway permit?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Paul makes a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Larry seconded. All those in favor of the application for a driveway access permit, say aye. Aye. The ayes have it. So I haven't done one of these in a while. Do I sign it?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
And I think there's literature in there that says that in order to get I want to say a certificate of occupancy, I think Eric has to, there is like a post-construction check.
There is post-construction.
Yeah, which is good. I think the building permit is, zoning permit is hinged on this if applicable as well.
Especially now that the town owns this.
That's exactly mine,
Like,
right? I agree, for sure.
Who takes this?
Which one is this?
It's a driveway permit.
Sure.
Our stuff.
Yeah, so today we went, we had a meeting with A&R. And Shelley, I thought of you. You guys didn't show up at the Notch Road, did you? And we weren't there. The Notch Road, culvert. I
didn't end up
warned
at the
meeting.
Notch.
We never ended up at the Notch Road.
Because Rachel already had seen it.
Because Rachel had seen it.
They were there, they came and looked at it, I think, weren't you there, Paul, or not?
Yes, this was today. They just kind of did a revisit of the culverts, so there was no like new information. It was just revisiting and evaluating where things were
Yeah,
at.
so anyway, I warned it as a meeting because I've warned all of them in the past. And then, but it said we were gonna visit Notch and we didn't. And I just thought of you because I was like, the only person who might show up could be Shelley, but you didn't, so. Anyway, so we were there from 9 to 10:30, basically. We started at the South Bear Swamp, culvert by, the Stanleys, with, Rachel Czar from A&R and Shannon Morrison from the Wetlands Division. And we talked about next steps that need to happen with that specific culvert, as well as the culvert by Weeds, the Center Road culvert, which has some wetland areas around it as well. So both those two culverts have some wetland issues, and so we will need to do an RFP for some engineering work. Eric did find out that our engineer does do wetland stuff, so great. We'll send him also the RFP. And so we need to do that pretty much as soon as possible. The other places that need work, we visited one more culvert on East Hill Road, the one down by Bulldogs, the other side of Bulldogs. And that doesn't need like an official engineer's stamp, but we need plans for everything. So there was not like, we could just go and do the work. Like Rachel wants to see written drawings for everything. And Eric thought that maybe between the two of you, some of the easier ones you guys.
Can't hear you. What's that?
Yeah, can you mute yourself?
Is it Travis or is it Nancy? Is it Bill?
No, it's Travis he's talking.
Hi, Bill.
And really sort of what the message we got was, don't do anything, like Dirt Tech and the town, or whoever should not do anything without first consulting with Rachel and getting Rachel's okay on basically everything.
Yep.
From the drawing to, we're about to go and do the work that the drawing says, right? Like she wants to see the stone, like even if it's just a photograph that's texted to her, like this is the size stone we're using, right? Because it's all about, and really we didn't learn anything too different from what was already reported back in November or October when we had our bigger meeting and looked at every single culvert. But it's primarily around the size of the stone and having to basically pull out some of that stone that's there and replace it with larger stones and shoring up some of the banks. The biggest project, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the South Bear Swamp Road project.
Sure.
That's the biggest project. The other one is just sort of a hassle that the work can be done. It will be done. They do want drawings for everything, but the RFP and the wetland project, along with the just repair work that needs to get done on the stone work and the river work, that will require the RFP.
One question I have about the RFP for the wetlands engineering and things like that. If it's a below a dollar amount, do we need to put it out to bid?
Well, we would have to look at our purchase.
I'd be curious
Yeah,
about
I
that,
don't
only
know.
because if we could avoid the process of an RFP and use a preferred contractor, engineer for that.
I think it's a $30,000 threshold.
Oh,
It is,
I
yeah.
would
I
dare.
think
If
that's
it's
it.
under 30, you don't have
Really?
to bid it out.
Yeah, I think we'd be under. It's worth us,
To be honest, I mean, I don't mind sending out the RFP if you can help me with the wording like.
again, my only thought is the delay, like the time.
Right,
That's my only, I don't want to work ourselves out of the window.
okay.
That's but with all we've got.
Yeah. And remember, we get, and so the person we're working with is a restoration specialist, because
Right, that's
Yeah.
kind of where I'm.
that was the.
Yeah, I mean, I know that they work very well with Rachel and.
It's been great for us so far.
Yeah, and so I think it would totally make sense. Where are you seeing the 30,000 on this?
She remembers from doing it, I remember too.
I remember it.
So the threshold is like purchases, our mid-level range is purchases between 10 to 30,000. Only require approval by the treasurer and the select board chair, so long as it's also provided for in the approved municipal budget. Anything over 30,000 requires a competitive bidding process, soliciting and documenting at least 3 bids. But there's a qualifier even there, like where possible, because it's Vermont. So yeah, it depends. Like I think if you get a bid in that's or a estimate that's like under 30,000, I guess it's $29,999.99. Then all you need is to run it by, or Eric, whoever's responsible for this, we need to run it by Cheryl and Liz for sign off.
Oh, yeah, I see it right
If
here.
it's
Yep.
in Liz's absence, then whoever's standing in for chair.
And that's just my opinion, unless the board, the group feels otherwise.
It's just a matter of how much it's gonna cost.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Right.
It's no judgment.
We can certainly ask.
Yeah, if we could, Eric could talk with you, Fitzgerald, say, hey, ballpark.
Yeah.
Like, is it gonna be under 30 grand? Like, what are we talking between a $5,000 threshold here?
If there's a reasonable chance though that it might like increase and follow, what is it, the rule of threes, 3 times as long, 3 times
Yeah.
as much, 3
Right.
times as many people, then, the conservative measure is to just like bid it out and assume that
Right.
it's going to exceed 30. But if she's like, yeah, it's like gonna be 15, no problem.
Right.
Don't really see any room for runaway costs.
My
Okay.
biggest concern is the lack of,
Time.
well, and the amount of engineers who did not opt
Mhm.
to bid on our last
Well,
work.
the nice thing about that is though, they get back to you right away.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
in reality, we would cover our butts by just doing the RFP.
Yeah.
Honestly, this one engineer that we're already working with probably is the one that would say.
So, I mean, we could make a motion that we go with them if the stars align with the pricing and it's under the 30,000, like conservatively under 30,000. I do have an action possible here on this, if we want to move forward with it. We do want to move forward with it. We have to.
yeah, I guess up to you guys.
I don't think we have enough information at this time to make a.
I would agree with that. I'd
I'm
love
happy
to know
to
what a
get
ballpark
you.
is.
Yeah.
Okay, find out what the ballpark is and then we can move it at the May 5th meeting if we need to.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, I mean, we could just go out for a bid at this point.
Well, Rachel was gonna send me a list and she said
Yeah,
in about a week, and
Okay.
if I hadn't heard from her in a week to remind her, so that fits within our 2
Yeah,
weeks
there you
from
go.
now.
Can I add one more thing? Like, if she is suddenly under 30, like the procurement, you don't need to put this back before the board. It can.
Oh, right,
Like,
yes.
we created this sort of
Yes, thank you.
direct, I don't know what you would call it, like an abbreviated route to approve these sort of mid-level expenses.
Yes.
So like, it doesn't have to come back to all of us.
That's right.
If it's unequivocally under 30, the spirit of our procurement policy.
All right, that sounds
And
great.
we're all okay
Yeah,
with that.
perfect. Okay, good. All right, and I did send you guys the minutes just to review to make sure, because I like to hold on to everything.
Yeah.
So we have a paper backup of everything, so if you could just,
I
Zara
will get
and Eric, just take a look at it, make
Yep.
sure that I didn't miss something really big. I have a hard time with this stone stuff, like, it's just hard for me to
Well, it's E2
E2
versus
was-
E.
Right, well, no, what she was talking about E1 and all my notes from the fall were E2. I'm like, well, what is it, E1 or E2? And I don't even know the difference, so. Eric had to explain it. And I didn't quite understand, but, okay. But at any rate, we're moving forward and the deadline is a end of October, I think, deadline. I'm sure they would extend it if we had to do that, but that's just keeping in mind that the plan is for all of this work to be done this summer and be completed and approved by the end of October. Okay, anything else about the highway while we're here?
Thanks for grading.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so fire department, we've got our folks from the fire department. Thank you for coming, guys. You sent us a update. I don't know if it got in the package, but I could just I don't think it did, but it's in my email. But do you have it there?
Yeah,
Is that
I got
what
it,
you
I got
have? Okay. Why don't you go through and tell us?
All right, so total calls this year was 100. Calls during this period, we had 10, no mutual aids out, no mutual aids in. Actually, we actually did have one mutual aid and I messed up. So that was actually we had one mutual aid from Worcester. Our MAC member response was actually 9. I also made another mistake. I miscounted. I apologize. And our min member response was 2, with an average member response of like 5.5. We had engine 1 out 8 times, engine 6 out 1 time, tanker 1 out twice, rescue 1 out 6 times, and we had truck work team was out 0 times, and personal vehicles were out 6. On the 22nd of March, we had a motor vehicle accident on 89 South. We had a motor vehicle accident on Route 12 on the 22nd. On the 26th, we had a motor vehicle accident on exit 9 southbound. On the 2nd, we had a motor vehicle accident on Route 2. On the 3rd, we had a motor vehicle accident on exit 9 north ramp. On 4-9, we had a tree on fire at 5 Church Street. On 4-15, we had a motor vehicle accident on northbound exit 9. On 4-18, we had an iPhone crash detection on Shady Rill. 4-18, we had a large bonfire at neighbor's concern if you get out of control. And on 4-18, we had a brush fire on Central Road. Fast Squad had 18 calls for the period, and 11 of them were only medical. For training, we did a hazmat refresher. There were no repairs, no purchases, and no notes to add unless you two have anything you want to add.
I have one thing I need to add.
What's up?
The heater at Station 2 is tagged out of service. So that'll have to be addressed.
For what?
The heat exchanger is cracked, so it's no good.
Do we need a new one?
Replaced.
Mhm.
Was Station 2 the one by Romney?
Yes,
Okay, so that probably wasn't in the budget, but is there a building fund?
there is a building maintenance fund that we probably would have enough in.
Okay, how much does that cost, do you think?
Well, and we think we paid 7,500 for 2 of those heaters at the town garage,
Oh,
so
yeah.
it'd be, I don't know, I got an estimate, but
Okay. Is that something we buy now because it's gonna be cheaper than in the fall?
probably we can get it out of this year's budget. I think
Yeah, get it out of
we
this
had
year's
room, right?
I
Sure.
think so.
Yeah.
Okay. Carol, do you want me to forward you the fire department
Yes, please.
report? Okay.
You guys got some kudos on Front Porch Forum.
Yeah, right.
So that was good.
That
to
was from
see.
the brush fire on the
Yeah.
15th, and you've had that brush fire start, you don't know?
I think it was from the power wires. I think a tree hit it.
Uh,
I have a question about the fire at 5 Church Street.
That was a permanent burn.
That isn't, I was gonna say, isn't that here?
Yeah, it was actually.
Okay. Address, I was like.
That was our last Thursday.
Okay.
Somebody laying in the door, call 911.
Tried. Perfect, no.
So Brendan, if you wouldn't mind including Carol Maloney on the reports, and then she'll just take a little abbreviations for it. Cut and paste. And then she doesn't have to brush fire for it.
Yeah.
All right, I just sent it to you, Carol. I think.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good luck with these guys.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you
guys.
so much.
I don't know. I thought I just sent it, Carol. Maybe I didn't. I said attached, and I'm not sure that anything was attached. Okay. Yep. You got it with the attachment? Okay, good. All right, treasurer's update.
One day, huh? I've been working on the workers' comp audit, and I'm down to the part where you have to send everybody's certificate of insurance and all their forms out. Had to deal with the breakdown of all the insurance bills that was new. We didn't get our new January through March bill because apparently it was lost in the mail. So I called VLCT up and they said, oh, you would get 100 letters before we would send this.
We canceled it.
Yeah. But so they did get that to me and they do their billing new now. So they break out like the ambulance attendants. We have part of our insurance comes to like $56,000 a year. Yeah. And that's $23,000 for our workers' comp. And then $33,000 a year for the rest of it. We have a termination policy. So if we fire someone wrongly or anything, we have to pay for that $2,000 a year for that part of the insurance.
Is this also insurance for the building too, or just working?
Yeah, it's everything. It's this building, it's the highway department, but then I have to take all these bills and then break them down by departments. And this is the way they come. So it took a couple of days to do that. And then there was a part where we got credit back and they couldn't tell me what that was for. So there was a whole investigation that had to happen behind the scenes for that. So that was a little trying. Been working with RB Tech with converting into the cloud, everything to the cloud and the emails. And they're working on changing our emails where you're going to be select board chair, vice chair, member 1, member 2, member 3.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have to keep archiving everyone's names every single time.
Nice.
They're working on the computers. They're going to be here on Thursday working with me and Bridget in the afternoon. I pulled a bunch of personnel policies for Larry for different towns so he could start working on that. And I had trouble finding the last one that was signed. It was 2021 and there was only 2 signatures. So there weren't a quorum on signing the personnel policy, which I was a little surprised about. I know we started working on one in 2024.
It was COVID.
One.
That was code, yeah.
Let's blame it on COVID.
Right?
Nobody was able to give their signature.
I've been working on doing the tax collections for people behind on their property taxes, which is not a pleasant part of the job, but made a lot of progress on that today.
But it's not too many. It was what, a dozen?
Yeah, we don't have a database for emails and phone numbers either. So like I have to search for these people.
Oh.
So that's like pulling an old check that might have a phone number, going into like where they pay electronically and see if they left a phone number for a receipt on there. Because there's no place for that unless they have direct debit. So that's kind of frustrating when it comes time to find that stuff. And then called the auditor up, asking her where things were at with the single audit, and she's yet to call me back. I think we delayed her on the
And it's still tax season.
Yeah, and it's tax season, so she hasn't responded to my email or my calls yet, but she has a lot of entries that I need to do, so I'd like to give you guys budget status report, but it would be so inaccurate because I got prepaids and all these adjusting entries that need to happen, and she hasn't given them to me yet. And then once she does a single audit, then you guys will have to approve that, and then if you have any questions about the regular audit and then the single audit, she'll answer them, and then she can finally finalize it, but that's where everything's at.
We should be in a very better position soon because we are going yet again, number by number.
Right.
And it would be good to have those financials,
Right.
especially as we get closer towards the end of the fiscal year.
And that's like right now in our, like I went ahead and done a few entries that I know are out there anyway that I need to do. Sent her just an email saying, I'm going to go ahead and do these entries, so don't include them as part of your adjusting entries. But
I don't understand why the auditor has anything to do with just you're putting your entries in for things that we've spent.
because she's already entered things and she's already done things to produce for what she did for her report that I gave you guys, that draft report. And if I do something and then she's already done those numbers, then it messes up her numbers that she's already gave us that report on.
Well, I wouldn't be against even at least having those numbers, knowing full well they may not be current to date,
Right.
to the hour
Right.
type of thing.
Right, and like today I went in and did a bunch of, like you guys approved, like having Borns come out of the building fund, for that heat system, and then the one up at the highway garage. So I did all those and we were trying to hold on to that money, you know what I mean? Until we actually had to do it. It was our money. We just needed to change plots that it was in. And I didn't want to do that until we had some money in there. And we've got to turn around and pay the education taxes again, and that's going to be another $1.5 billion. And people are delayed on paying their taxes. So I'm hoping that a little bit right now. And then I have to, I'm going to send out the next tax bills for the delinquent people, and then I'll just know that the May 20th payments are coming up as 8%. And I'll have Bridget.
When is the next payment due?
May 20th.
May 20th, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember in fact, remember I had a problem. I never remember I changed bank accounts and I forgot to tell you, didn't it bounce, the first one?
Yeah, I think so, but I think we did look at it.
Did we
I'll
fix
look
it?
at it. I'll look at it.
I know I have that happened at work with my, I don't know that it did happen.
Yes, Shelley.
You probably already thought about it, but if you never had a permit, to look in under the, our website.
Actually, that's why I found funny.
Yeah.
That's why I found funny today, that and looking up PTRs and
Okay.
all that good stuff. It was like,
But even in our files, they might have something, a record or the phone number or something.
yeah, and that's actually today,
That's the last tax bill for this.
the May 20th, yeah. And if they don't pay it, then you get the 8%.
Well, I'm gonna try to remember.
Just if you send me an email saying what your last four is, then I can just look on there quickly and confirm and say we got the right one or we got the wrong one.
Okay,
And will you guys put out a front porch forum reminder thing?
Yeah,
I think that's what you just said.
Yeah.
we'll do that. Okay, Royalty card thought she could only come between 8:15 and 8:30, and I was like, no, that's not, I'm gonna be there. Okay. So, anything else?
The payroll orders are there. There's no accounts payable orders because I was doing things and I didn't know that Brenda had left the day. So,
So what is it?
that's just the old orders that people need to look at and sign that they weren't all the signatures on.
So this one's just
So we don't have
Stacy
anything-
and Paul.
But there's no new orders.
Do you need us to come in during the week?
Sure.
I'll let you know when they're ready.
Okay, she's gonna need us to come in and sign during the weekday, guys.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll send you an email when they're done.
okay. But do you think you could just try because I think next meeting is my last meeting. I
Yeah.
would like to see a treasurer's,
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
budget to actual.
I can think that, but just know it's not
No, I know it's not, but it's not perfect.
as pretty as I want it to be right now. I hate waiting.
Usually it's tough.
I don't know. Okay,
Should we get on that?
town clerk's update. How's it going, Bridget?
It's going pretty good. I have made some progress on my trainings, the big three, and then so it's ethics, open meeting, and notary. So that's pretty much all taken care of. And then the other focus is getting the website, the boards updated with regards to meeting information, and then getting everything as far as got a busy week for meetings. So getting everybody set with all their materials. And then working, the next goal would be to get the recordings all off of Zoom that we're missing, to get those on the website. So that's my emphasis this week. And then I have stuff for you to sign here. So I've got the minutes from the last time. I've got the lift, if you want it for other business, and
I have the last thing here. I just signed it.
and then the town meeting minutes. So
Do we all need to sign that?
yeah, we put it off last meeting.
Yeah, we just approved it.
Yeah.
You've done all those? I'll send them to Stacy.
And I will make a note that next meeting, I'll be sure to get Eric's report on the fire department in the packet.
Okay, the fire department meets only once a month, so it's the second Tuesday of the month that the fire department meets, and then Eric sends a road report, usually like the day of.
Yep. So I'll get that in the packet. for next
Okay.
meeting.
Okay, let me see if there's something I was gonna ask you. Your trainings, are they done, like, are they online or does the VLCT have them in person with other town clerks?
So the notary one, there were multiple options. The one I signed up for is a little bit more in depth. So there was a little bit of a fee. And so that is in progress. And then the ethics training is just Secretary of State's. Yeah.
Oh, right, that's the one we took. I am going to take, there is a training next, because I'm still technically the ethics officer. And there's a training, I think it's next week or the week after, I think it's the week I leave, that they're putting together for municipalities, because we know that the state doesn't have any way of dealing with any ethics complaints.
Right.
And so they're going to provide us with like some tools to help us deal with ethics complaints.
And Liz, I did print out the transcript from the ethics training. I can forward that to everybody just to have in their email.
The transcript from it?
From the training.
We all.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
all.
but just have to, whatever.
Okay. Oh, because my name's not on here.
Your name's there, which is why I pulled that one.
Oh.
Is anybody going to Municipal Day tomorrow? At the State House, Municipal Day?
Oh, I wanted to, but no, I'm not. I have to work in a food shelf. Are you? I think you should go.
I got stuff to do tomorrow.
I thought it was actually a really nice thing, the robbery, but
yeah.
I only saw it like when you probably.
Yeah,
you saw
2
it
days ago.
2 days ago.
Yep.
I have to work the food shelf, so I can't.
Yeah.
And we also have a training in Fairleigh on the 28th.
At like morning.
Yep. So we'll probably be closing the office that day.
Oh, yeah, what day is that?
The 28th, so is that a Tuesday?
Yeah, that's a Tuesday, yeah.
And so we'll close the office that day because all three of us go.
Oh, I left it open so she can see where she needs to sign.
Okay, anything else from you, Bridget?
Okay. So that's that day, so we'll be on.
Well, we first meet there at 5 and come back here probably by 6.
Okay.
So, we'll have to let ourselves in. I have a key, but yes, we do have to come back for that.
Do we want to tell Orca about that?
Yeah, we could. We have a public hearing on the 28th. I don't know how you guys know about meetings.
I think someone researches them.
Some
Do you want to email them to make sure?
Yeah, email them to tell them that we may want them there. Okay. That's not a bad idea. Okay, so we're now ahead of things, which is fine. So the Stacy sent the final copy, but it doesn't look like it's in here of the I don't know if you sent it to Bridget as well. If we send it, can somebody print it?
Sorry.
Probably can print from Stacy's computer to the Konica.
The job description for the.
Oh, it's in your packet.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
Okay. I like this giant one. The limb.
Next time. So it's the
What's
the guidelines on the first page and then the.
It's on the
job
back.
description.
Oh, it's just on the back.
Double-sided printers, types again.
Okay, guys, this doesn't have signatures. Someone just, before I forget. Is there something for the Tuesday, April 7th agenda? I'm sorry, minutes.
Yes. So we just passed that down.
Yeah, okay, because I have a smaller version of it and I want to make sure this.
Yeah, no, that's just for the packet and then you have a blue folder for signatures.
Gotcha, okay, thank you. Okay, why don't I see the job description?
Right behind here. Oh,
Oh, wow. Not as long as I thought.
A lot shorter when it's not on your phone.
Right, exactly.
I'm the same way.
Are you sure? Because this is the one I have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's.
This is not right.
Just know that it's.
That's the thing about school.
It's missing about yeah. Is that the one that, Stacy sent you?
I'm pretty sure this was the latest and greatest.
Can you
Stacy,
pass that on to Stacy?
Yeah, this.
Did we think yours is missing some?
page 2.
No,
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I was gonna say, wow, it's really strong.
Well, wait, is it one, it's front and back, 1, 2,
Yeah, but I
3.
So you're missing the middle page of so you're missing page 2 of core responsibilities.
I can go grab it. Let me go grab it.
Nice, we both see it.
I don't know. Yeah, somebody needs it.
Oh,
Where are you
I'm
finding
gonna
it?
try this printer right here.
oh, you're gonna try it here? Just. in case
Oh.
I'm gonna see, if you guys wanna skip to another
Yeah,
topic.
because this is the old one, was 4 pages.
Circulate, like on Carol's map book, I think. I'm letting it stay off that. Okay, do you know which printer's upstairs or downstairs? There's a direct.
Monica's downstairs.
Yeah, come.
I have 2 direct, one's a direct 39. and one's a-
Or like take over the stuff.
Indy 6100.
Those are all HP, so there's not, it's not coming up there.
No, alright.
Here. I have it right here and I can maybe print it to the Chronica.
I mean, I emailed them, like, everybody got the description, so if you've got anything up to this. Thanks. I don't know what she's got.
Apparently I need to share the Wi-Fi password with you, Carol Maloney.
No, it's right there.
Says no air printers found. Damn it.
Thank you.
But it is from 4/7/26.
Well, I can hijack our screen and put it back up there. Second log in.
Can you print from here?
I don't think so. I've never known how to. I can try. What's the name of the printer here?
It's like Hanukkah.
I don't know why it would show up here.
I can't see what that says, but was that hard work on the bottom?
No, it's the.
Go to,
You know, there's something where it's like,
yeah, add a printer.
There it is. That's Carol's MacBook Air.
Can you let me into the Zoom?
Sorry.
All I see is Carol's MacBook Air.
That's.
Is there an add a printer thing?
And I think it has to be done, show Wi-Fi direct printers. Oh, is this it?
I don't think so. Do you know what the one up here is? Is it a brother or a direct something?
Direct 39 HP. It's something that's coming up electronically, wirelessly.
It does say brother.
Oh, check. But this is saying brother at Carol's MacBook.
TN 630, TN 630.
No.
Brother at home.
Do you have a brother at home? Yeah.
Why is that showing it?
Oh, your MacBook Air is just sucking everything. You're connecting with everyone.
Like your bank account.
I can't do much with that. Yeah.
Well, you see my credit
It's all
history
ready.
too.
That's right. Stacy's got it up on the screen.
All right.
Yeah, this is always a little tricky to get it through the hole. I'll give you my thing, guys.
Way easier with you here, Stacy, I'll give you that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, so there have been, I think you want to do like this. Yeah.
Very good. Now we have paper copies.
Paper copies, I'm gonna stick with the digital copy.
Yeah, stick with the digital so that people can see it online.
Yeah, I'll leave it up. They're the only, like, after the last review and discussion, the only changes were that I made to the draft otherwise considered was this language here about the exemptness of the position. I think it remains appropriate to classify it as exempt based on the roles and responsibilities of the town administrator. The thing that Cheryl and I were talking about is how do you, appropriately address the expectation that the position may require, typically requires 40 hours a week. Like we're looking for someone to, be available for town for fulfilling the roles and responsibilities Monday through Friday, and also possibly evenings and weekends. So this language is what I came up with where, the town administrator is expected to work a schedule consistent with the needs of the position, typically averaging 40 hours per week. As we know, an exempt employee can work more than 40 hours or less than 40 hours. Obviously, they're not, they wouldn't be submitting a time card. They would be salaried in that regard and may be required to work additional hours, including evenings and weekends as necessary to fulfill job responsibilities. Primarily in person, remote work may be permitted at the town's discretion. So there you have it. I think the language there does not overstep because we can't require an exempt employee to work a certain number of hours, but we can set expectations. And obviously if the employee does not meet those expectations, it's an at-will position and we can terminate as needed. That sounds terribly harsh to say.
But they still fill out a timesheet because they have to put in sick time and vacation time and stuff. They still put in what
At
they
that point,
work.
it's called a time distribution sheet, and you cannot, when they come in and they work a 5-hour day, you can't deduct. They don't have to take sick time.
Yeah.
Or anything like that, unless they take an 8-hour day, and then an 8-hour day can take vacation or sick or personal time or whatever. But partial days you can't deduct for those hours. And we used to call them time distribution sheets. So we knew where we needed to charge the time.
I do think that in preparing this job description highlights the needs to review and update the personnel policy, which ideally will be done before this individual joins us, if and when that occurs, rather than trying to figure this all out on like an ad hoc basis with a full-time employee, just thrown right into the washing machine. So we don't need to address, I don't think the job description needs to address PTO or sick leave or vacation, but we do need to decide that.
Yeah, right.
But not at this point, but also not like we can't kick this can down forever either. So that's my 2 cents. Actually, that was probably more than 2 cents. That was like 25 cents. But there you have it. All the other components of the job description, the responsibilities and the qualifications are things that we've talked about and there was general consensus. There's been no changes since the last time. So yeah, I do think also, while I've just got the floor for a moment, the spreadsheet, the PDF I circulated from VLCT about hiring well did outline a number of talking points that would be great if we have time in the next meeting or two to discuss in terms of determining like who's responsible for receiving who's receiving the letters of interest and the applications. How are we going to evaluate candidates? How are we going to advertise this? Who's responsible for drafting any advertising material? Just like, does one person want to take this on, or do we want to continue to workshop this as a group, or have, one person work behind the scenes and then present it? There's just a lot of different ways to go about it. And I'm, happy to kind of push this along in like kind of a high level way. And asking people what they want to do or would like, how they want to be involved. But yeah.
So that is actually on the agenda, is to talk about the next steps for how we deal with this. So I think that we probably don't want to put out this job until after the May 9th meeting to know exactly what happens on May 9th with the budget. But presuming things move forward and we're able to start the hiring process. As you know, I'm not going to be here. And so, I think probably someone who works here receives the job. Someone with who's in the office, maybe I can't imagine anyone's mailing anything, but somebody's email receives any applications that we get, and that we create a hiring committee. We don't want too many people in a hiring committee for this. Not more than 3 to 5 people.
I was going to say 5. I think 5 is an appropriate number. And in my opinion, having that a little bit of, I don't want to say picking and choosing, but having interested individuals from maybe several of the existing committees and some public as well.
Yeah, I was hoping that we could reach out to the public for HR and business professionals who are used to the hiring process, so that they could create a rating system, just like you guys do for any RFP we put out or construction person that we hire.
Yeah. I would love to see us, in the interest of Liz being gone, is it possible for us to like put something together now? Not people, but can we put like a game plan together?
So are we reaching out on Front Porch Forum and asking the public if there are HR and business professionals that would be willing to form a hiring committee?
Someone on the board needs to be, 1 or 2 people has to be on the board, from the board have to be on this.
So I'd like to see Stacy.
Yeah.
If I can ask Matt from a budget committee perspective, what's your thoughts on having him put like a member of the budget committee being part of that discussion?
I think the budget committee is trying to, the budget committee isn't part of the departments.
Right.
We advise on numbers and we can talk to people. I think it's probably better. I think the select board can include whoever they want. It's probably better to include representatives from the actual departments rather than the budget committee.
I would say like someone from, like Eric would be working closely with that person. So I would think Eric, I would think maybe Stacy from the board. I would say someone from, maybe you, Cheryl, someone from the office.
And then maybe 2 community members.
Who maybe already serve on a committee or something like that, right?
Or don't.
Or don't.
Or HR or business professionals who are used to hiring people.
Who would be good? Cindy Griffin, the woman that's working on the website.
Yes.
She's good.
Okay. Let's do a call out on Front Porch Forum and see what we get.
Well, I would make sure you only ask for 2, because you could get abundance of people.
I think you will.
We can just let people know. Yeah. We can only shoot.
Now, here's the question. How do we go about selecting those 2 out of the dozen, maybe?
Well, if we do it right now and we do it like tomorrow at our next meeting, we can choose those people.
That'd be great.
Because we still have some time. The May 1st or 5th or whatever it is meeting. So who wants to put that call out?
Are you good with that, Stacy? Your name was thrown out.
Yeah.
I want to make sure
You okay with that?
you heard that.
I mean, I'm smiling a little just because of my other business, but yeah, that's fine. I think it's, will never pretend to be an employment lawyer, but I can certainly like read the laws and would be happy to bring just like select board and, someone who's got like legal mindset to the process, make sure no shenanigans happen.
Would you make sure though, would you do the front porch forum saying we're looking for 2 people from members of the community who have heavy HR?
Yeah, and I would just say in anticipation of
That's good.
potentially hiring a town administrator, because that's gonna all get everybody all worked up.
It's all
Is there
TBD.
a reason we're not doing the commissioner as well?
Oh, the road commissioner,
You haven't written up
because I haven't written up the job. Remember, I gave it to you to look for the road.
I looked for the
You were
old
supposed,
one.
you said you would take it to the road committee.
I did?
Yes, you don't remember that?
And I looked for the old.
Do you remember? Okay, people do remember.
It's
I think it's in the minutes.
Yeah, it's very possible. I had Sandy, Dexter and John at the last road committee,
Okay,
so.
yeah. So yeah, you did mention you run by them, but
I thought you were gonna do the right up but that's all right.
well, I did. We had a job description.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I gave a job description. You guys were gonna take it and I think maybe Stacy made some edits on it. Did you make edits on the road committee one, the road commissioner job description?
No.
You didn't? Okay, so we were looking at it online, I think, or something, and
I think there was edits.
yeah, I think there were edits too, and I think it was Stacy.
Wow.
I think we did it online.
I think you did it online while yeah.
Road commission?
Yeah, we were talking about
Joe? It was last meeting?
last meeting.
It was last meeting, yeah. Well, she doesn't remember that she said.
You and me both, yeah, I mean, it's going around.
Possible.
Do we want to, with this, are we all happy with this job description for the town? Should we approve that?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
you're making that
I
motion?
will make that motion that we accept this, the drafts for a permanent, job description for the town administrator.
And I will second that.
Okay, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. So we have an approved job description. So I also think, in my conversations with somebody, I think maybe it was Susan Clark, that she's been having some conversations with people, that I think the public would like to see what it is that a town administrator would do. And so I think it would be a good idea to post this as I don't know if we can do links. Can you do links? And we don't really have a place to link it.
Well, we could put it on the website.
Oh, yeah, we could just put it on the website. Yeah.
You list it with Vermont League of Cities and Towns.
Right. The only problem is that we're not actually
Right.
posting
that's-
it.
We're not advertising it.
We're not
We just
advertising
want
it
it
yet.
posted so that the people in town can know what.
Okay, so for feedback on the.
Right.
Understood.
Yeah, not even, yeah, it's for the May 9th meeting, like when
I wouldn't even
people-
say for feedback.
It's not
more-
feedback.
Yeah, more of,
Knowledge.
informational, what to expect.
If we don't want to put it on the town website, I can say informally, it's just like what the, I don't want to say I'm like the lead on the hiring committee, but as the select board person on the
You are.
committee, then I can like
Yeah.
put it on Google Share and just drop a link that way and be like, we have a job description.
Yeah, why don't you do that?
Yeah.
That was approved. Matt's raising his hand.
Yes, Matt.
So please finish. I have a question.
Yep, that was my thought.
I'm unclear for the hiring, when you talk about a hiring committee, I would assume the select board is gonna make the hiring decision. I think if you guys mention hiring committee, it might be good to describe like the responsibilities and expectations you have out of the committee. Because I was confused. I was like, I can't tell if you guys are planning to have them make the decision or what are they supposed to.
Oh,
Recommendation.
this would be a recommendation to the
Yeah.
board. Yeah. So it would be like where they present to the board, kind of like I think what they do with the schools.
Which makes sense. Like I can
Yeah.
guess now that you said no.
Yeah.
Review.
You can interview candidate, well, develop criteria
Yep,
for
there we go.
interviewing and evaluating candidates, conducting the interviews, and then making a recommendation or, recommendations to the board based on interviews. I think does that sound like a
We're also gonna need questions for them, coming up with a
interview matrix?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rating system
Yeah.
for resumes.
How many applicants do you want the committee to bring to the board? Like, you're gonna make their recommendations, you want 1, 2, 3? If these are their recommendations?
I would be shocked if we had 3, but
I think
I'd be shocked if we had 2.
I think
but,
ideally we would want 3.
I think 2 to
Two.
present it to the board.
Okay,
I think final 2. That's what I think,
yeah,
but
it's an important role. So,
And just because I had, one last thing I wanted to ask was timelines, like I was curious if I heard about that, like when is it these things supposed to be done?
yeah. So ideally, because the funding starts July 1st, it could be anytime after July 1st. That's not gonna happen probably in this timeline, but
do the meetings have to be open in public?
no, because this is.
It has to do with hiring.
Yeah.
Hiring, okay.
Yeah,
Well, I was gonna say, the ultimate decision to hire, may be, but maybe not. Actually, I'm not sure if that's like an executive, that may well be presented in executive session. I'd have to go back and see what the parameters are for that. Liz, do you know, Liz? Like, because I think staffing employee personnel issues can be executive session where we would discuss the candidates.
Yes, but then when we get out, we make like a recommendation. So yes, I
Yeah.
think you're
We
right.
can
It is that
deliberate
you can
in
deliberate and, yeah,
Announce the candidate.
Yes.
The board is.
yeah.
Okay.
The other thing I would also just ask is that if you wouldn't mind emailing me while I'm gone, the resumes that you guys are considering, because I'm gonna be the main person working with this person as the chair. So it'd be good for me to just get a sense of who it is before I come home. They're like,
So
oh, here's
you're
our new
open,
person.
you're open to accepting work.
I'm open to reading
I just wanted to
resumes.
be out
Just
loud.
curious, that's all. Yeah, no, I think that would be,
No, I think it's appropriate.
yeah, I think it would be helpful for me to
It's
do
good
that.
coffee reading.
Liz,
Right,
reading
exactly.
resumes on the French Riviera.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't think I'm gonna be on the Riviera, but on the French bike path, I'll be like.
On the bike.
Boss.
well, so if we posted this May 11th, then 3 weeks later is June 1st. Is that enough time for people to get their resumes in, or do we do it through June 8th? And then give the hiring committee 3-4 weeks and then talk about it July 7th? Is that the timeline?
Say it again.
If we start advertising May 11th, that gives 3 weeks until June 1. So if we did a 4-week process, then that's June 8th. And that only gives our hiring committee 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks.
They don't need more than that.
Okay, to make, and then
Oh, yeah, they'll just be looking.
so July 7th, we would be having them tell us what they think and choosing between the two.
Well, then would the board would conduct final interviews?
Okay,
No. It's the board's
Um,
decision.
It's the board's decision, yeah. I think the board probably would. I'll have to ask Rob
We have
about
with
that, to
Foreman.
make sure that, yeah, we have.
That one.
Yeah, we have.
Foreman.
Yeah, and did we do it in public? No, that's weird. I don't think we have.
do it in-
You know, you do not do these things in public because these people may already be employed someplace else and they,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't
Yeah.
do this in public.
But the outcomes are.
The outcomes are
Are
public
public.
after they've accepted the job.
Yes, interviews were not, but they were held with the select board.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see,
Because ultimately this person works for the select board, right? That's
Yeah. that's my,
that's their boss.
that's my
So-
thought. I like the consolidated timeline because I don't think that the committee itself needs to have a grand amount of time.
Well, I don't either. If I'm hiring someone, guys, I can look at someone's resume in 2 minutes and be like, this is either a good candidate or it's not. Right?
Right.
It's the interview and it's the scheduling of the interview.
Right.
And we may want to consider having like a preliminary interview that one person does, and just does it over the phone with the person to gauge their interest before that's what we do at Capstone. The HR person, goes through sort of a list of questions to make sure that this person is, somebody that is still interested and, is just giving them a feel of like, yes, I want to bring this person in for an actual interview. That's a pretty common thing right now.
Boy, I hope we have the participation to warrant such a process.
That'd be the one.
Yeah, I don't
would
think,
love that,
right, me too.
but
But I think,
never know.
I think that's fair, like, and we can, the committee can allocate who would do like the initial handshake / like the phone call to verify that the individual is like aware of the job description and we would, it sounds like, so I guess like, and I'm just confirming like, unless there's opinions now, but in terms of materials to be requested by any candidate, we're really just looking for a resume. I personally think cover letters are kind of outdated. But if there's any other materials that you would recommend that the candidate that we want to see from a town administrator, I'm happy to hear it now, or, the committee would also consider what would be part of any application.
Just recommendations and maybe following up on some of those.
And the one thing that I'm looking at it from an applicant standpoint, maybe one of my determining factors or factors that would hinge on some of the is like what our benefits package looks like. So something that we could just shoot them to say.
Yeah, we need a one sheet.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because that's, for some people, a big
I
deal.
think there is in the PowerPoint.
It's all changed. Oh, yeah, Brenda's got that.
Brenda put a PowerPoint together.
Right.
So we should have a one sheet.
Yeah.
But I think that.
And that could be forwarded to the interested individual. Because again, that they may say, yeah, no, not. I was on the fence there and this kind of, or I was on the fence and now I'm in.
But sometimes questions can be simple as like, for at least a preliminary, like, are you available for evening meetings, right? Like, and someone may just be like, no, I'm not, right? And you don't want to spend all your time interviewing them to find out that like, oh, actually, I can't do evening meetings, right?
Which select board meetings are after 5.
Right.
All of them.
Most of them are.
Most meetings are, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Stacy too, especially for some of the people that are, if we're offering sort of community members, like we need to give them a basic primer of like questions they can't ask. It's like, do you have children? Right?
They do not touch zone.
That's why I said HR.
They can say, are there any reasons why you can't get to work at 8 o'clock in the morning?
People
Yes, that's, even that would raise some questions.
It's good that I'm.
What's stopping you from being here at 5 o'clock at night?
There's so many things you can't.
Right.
Yeah, good I'm not on.
So that would be very important to
emphasizing the HR heavy experience in the people.
Yes, ma'am.
So I wanted to make that comment. Also, just encourage you guys, I know you mentioned the personnel policy, but typically like this hiring committee, the role it fulfills, just make sure you cover hiring practices in the personnel policy to consistent with the process you follow here.
Yeah,
good point.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, this is new for us, right? Like we haven't had to hire someone besides cemetery commission people. And then we're just dragging them in. We're
road foreman has been very cut and dry. It's very formatted and cookie cutter. Yeah.
Right.
Make sure hiring practices align with personnel policy hiring practices. Such good advice. All right.
No pressure, Stacy.
Stacy, I can also look on my my office site. We have a bunch of manager tools for things like, and there may be some cookie cutter type things that I can pass along to you for like matrices and typical questions and things like that. And there may even be something about like things you can say and can't say.
There's a lot on VLCT.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah.
A lot.
All right, good.
You can kind of, I haven't spent a ton of time looking around, but they have like a hiring well, they have a handbook.
Oh, perfect. Okay,
So
great.
We'll make sure that everybody's on.
Well, thank you for taking that on.
Yeah, thank you.
That's this is a big job.
Yep.
Okay, so
So do we
did we
want
make a
to?
motion? We
Well,
did
I'd
not.
like to just outline, I'd like to solidify our timeline, is what I would like to do.
Okay,
So we're advertising it as early as May 11th. That's a Monday.
Now, advertising the position,
Yes.
okay.
So that would be the LCT website. And then I don't know, do we want to do like LinkedIn, Indeed?
Does Middlesex have a LinkedIn?
No.
No.
I think Middlesex is an optional. Sorry, I shouldn't.
Yeah, no, you should.
Middlesex Vermont is not an option on like that. You have to choose Montpelier.
Which is fine. We can, this is not you have to be from town job anyway.
we can put it on our own LinkedIn's too.
Yep.
Liz is hiring.
I'm hiring.
Liz is, are you hiring?
This is,
I mean, there's jobsinvt.com, there's Indeed, there's Monster.
So May 11th, 3 weeks brings us to
All the
June 1.
papers. May 11th, you think just 3 weeks?
7
or
days
4
is
weeks
the best
to get, for people to get,
expensive.
see it and get their resume in?
I mean, 3 weeks, I don't know, I feel like interested parties are on the hunt for a job like this, if it's well advertised and.
Yeah, so you're saying, yeah, I would give 3 weeks, I think is okay. I mean, if nobody's fine, we just
I was
keep
gonna
it
say,
open.
if we, yeah, like 3 weeks
Let's-
is fine. If there's, at the end of 3 weeks, there's like crickets, then we just, report back and, we extend it,
Report nothing.
Well, let's put it on Front Porch Forum and click the
But
box
I
for
think-
everybody around.
Yeah,
Purposes of like, we can state in the advertisement, like applications accepted through whatever date 3 weeks is from May 11th, which would be like.
Well, let's just say May 31st, because that's a Sunday and and then you guys can start.
I think June 5th too,
Oh,
because
okay.
of Memorial Day and stuff like that. That's
Okay.
not a good time.
Okay.
June 5th?
Always end on Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's that ends up being roughly 4 weeks, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then from there, like you have I'd say like concurrent first round screening, second round committee interviews as interviews should be done on like a rolling basis. For qualified candidates, I don't, with the understanding though that no recommendations would be presented until after the window for all applicants is closed. But I wouldn't make people sit around and wait for a month to just be interviewed.
Yeah, I think it can be a rolling basis, right? Like,
That's horrible.
Yeah.
if they send us a resume and we're like, heck yeah, we want to interview this person, we should move forward with it. It's not going to hurt to interview. No, we're not going to get, I can't imagine we're going to get 20 candidates, but.
Well, there's people.
As long as,
Okay, I hope
but as long as we have timelines that we can give folks, I think it's important that we give them timelines that they can
Yes.
expect us to uphold.
For sure.
So third round interviews with the board would begin the week of, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, are you presenting to the board on July 7th? You're.
Okay, first of all, is everyone available July 7th? That is like a holiday week.
Okay. Well, are we doing the 7th and the 21st? Or are we doing the 14th and the 28th in July?
Yeah, you guys have to decide. I think the 7th is, it's not me. I'm not even me, but I just want to remind people that
We
it's the
appreciate
4th of
your
July.
input.
Yeah, I'm
We
here.
appreciate your input.
Are you guys here on a Tuesday after the 4th of July?
I am.
I am.
Yep.
Okay. Do people know what their vacation schedule is? Yeah.
No, we're kind of decided.
So if we did that one, I'm actually back on this one.
On what, the 21st?
Yeah, I'm back on the 21st.
These dates can go sideways depending on how that Saturday, the May 9th meeting goes. I don't know. I'm wondering if this is a fool's errand. To try and just pick dates, I think having windows of time is reasonable,
So, well, let's say, so if we were to on this meeting to determine who it is, or you want from this meeting and then we're gonna have more discussion and the start date is gonna be sometime mid-August?
Yeah. I think the start date could be, if we decide. So on the 21st, you're saying, if we do this, if we get a reasonable amount, even in big jobs, when you get a ton of people, you're often just presented with two. The final group is presented with two. So we could do those, and I don't think we'd want to do it on a select board night.
Oh, okay.
We'd want to do it on a different night. You don't like that idea, Larry?
Well, in terms of the group presenting to us,
it
has to be presented at a select board meeting and it should be, something the public gets to see.
No,
Okay.
no, historically, we have not done that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Because again, they're applying for a job and they may already have a job and they may not get this job and they don't want their public to know that they're getting this, that they're being.
Yeah, we don't even typically advertise like the end of it, like just because of public.
Okay.
If they do have a job and all that, the person who we do offer it to is public.
And to make it clear, we don't have to present two. If there's one that really is like hands down, like this is who we want to hire. I don't think we're forced to bring a second.
Well, no, but you just said that, you want to be able to know who you're working with, so.
Right, yeah.
I think it's fair to bring two. We should have a look at least two.
Okay, at least.
Otherwise, we're not making any decision. Really. That's what's the point.
Yeah, okay. All right.
So where are we at? All right, but where are we at?
Well, we're at, let's see, the third round of interviews would be sometime in July, and that's the date that we're trying to figure out. So if we want to wait for me to get back, that would be the 21st of July.
So in that case, why don't we just wait to advertise it, right? Until a little bit later in May? I don't know how long.
So the week of Memorial Day is often a terrible time to advertise, but I think that these times are okay.
So if we do the 11th, then that whatever, and then that knocks out Memorial Day, but we're going all the way to the 5th.
Yeah.
Great. And then the hiring committee has from the 8th until a whole month, until what? 7th to 21st? That's a lot of time between applying for a job and getting a job.
And getting a job, right. But
it's also not a minimum wage position.
right, it's not unusual.
Sure.
And also it is, if we have a number of candidates and getting their schedules in, I think it might depend on how many candidates we have and how soon they're able to schedule. If they're all able to schedule in the first couple of weeks, we don't need to wait 4 more weeks. We can just move things up a little bit.
If that's okay, then I don't disagree. Right.
Look at the light
I don't disagree.
I don't disagree.
That is copacetic.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on being here.
You don't have, yeah. There's certainly
Even for the
enough
decision,
involved.
but I would like to at least see the person, or maybe I zoom in on the final day just to meet the person.
Right.
I can do that. It's not like I'm gonna be in a place without internet.
Could be your neighborhood bully that used to beat up on you.
Right, yeah, what if I find that out?
Well, that would be a conflict of interest.
That's true. Neighborhood bully.
Ethics chair.
The neighborhood bully is actually in jail and has been for a long time, so.
We can, I guess I can second, was it Larry who suggested just delaying the advertisement, if we just post it at the beginning of June, if we post it June 1st, with 3 weeks of applicants, then we're gonna be interviewing through before and after July 4th, but not necessarily looking for new applicants on the holiday weekend. And then, by the time
You get back.
They meet with the hiring committee, you would be back.
I thought we were advertising on the 11th. If it works out.
May 11.
Yeah, but she's just saying to push back the advertisement so that you don't have this long period of time.
I'm just concerned because funding doesn't even kick in, assuming that all goes well until July 1st. And I get part of it's just kind of like, what's the, it's like an artificial hurry.
Yeah, I think it's an artificial hurry too.
Like we've got plenty, it'll just give us a little bit more time to clean up the personnel policy. It'll give me time in case we don't have a fleet of people show up to be on this hiring committee. I don't know. I think it just.
Yeah, I think you could form the hiring committee even before we advertise the position.
But I think, I do think having a goal of trying to have a qualified candidate under contract by August 1st is a good goal.
I think that's a reasonable goal.
But so I guess to that effect, I see June, July makes more sense. I think if we start in mid-May, we're giving ourselves, there's just a lot of wiggle room there for her. But flip side, if it's funded by July 1st, then we could make moves and have someone here.
Yeah, but I don't disagree, especially on the personnel policy side of it.
Yeah.
That gives us.
I think all of us would be more comfortable.
That we need to make sure that.
I also think it reflects some of the climate right now of concerns of having too many people starting and by an extra, we're pushing out the next new person by another group. So there's that.
And then I'll be back too.
And you'll be back and you'll keep them in mind.
And I'll put them under my wing and teach them how to.
So first step is forming the committee, and I don't think we have to wait on.
No, that can be.
That can be like putting it online. We're just not advertising it.
May 11th is I start the committee, and I can. I guess no.
I'd like to have this online before the 9th.
Yeah, that's fine. I think
we definitely need to have the job description on the line.
Yeah, we can post the job description because it's relevant to the budget and this meeting. I agree. I think I would, as I'm talking this through, I think it makes more sense to create the hiring committee once we have confirmed funds for this position. Otherwise, it's just straight up awkward.
Yeah.
So.
I agree.
For lack of.
We'll publish, but as the select board hiring contact person, I will post this. I will put out for board forum and we'll have maybe the Middlesex Facebook group. I don't know where else we could put it, but.
Next door.
We'll put this up in front of folks and also for the budget committee on their Thursday meeting. And then after, if the budget, if this position remains funded after May 9th, then on May 11th, immediately thereafter, we would proceed with building out the hiring committee, establishing the hiring processes, and then that way by June 1st, we're ready to advertise. And then between June 1st and July 1st is the applicant initial screening process. And then, as we move into July, we're getting into third round interviews or, making recommendations or figuring out whether that's Liz, you joined by Zoom, or if can wait till the end of July.
Well, and I would also say, I hope that when the budget committee and you guys are meeting, that it's not just the town administrator job that you're pulling money from, but that you're looking at the entire budget for where things can move.
So in the budget committee meeting we had prior to this, the special meeting is about, the plan we discussed was, we'll start by asking any petitioners in attendance to kind of explain, give a very brief overview of why they signed the petition, what's the rationale. I imagine some of them may say town administrator, some of them may not. So town administrator is not a requisite part of that budget committee.
Okay. All right. So I think we're making good progress on that. We're a little behind schedule, but so I just wanted to touch base about I don't know, just give us an opportunity to talk about the special town meeting with an explanation of I wasn't quite sure how to word this.
We approved this. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
We did
Yeah, we
approve
did
this.
approve it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want.
Yeah. We did, didn't we?
Yes,
We made a motion and approved it.
Approved one.
The town
The town
administrator.
administrator job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and maybe Matt, you might be helpful in what maybe you guys talked about too. But as you know, and I'm only bringing this up again because there's still a lot of unclear people, right? If somebody's watching this online, maybe they'll get a little bit more clarity. So the warning as it stands right now is asking us in Article 1 to reconsider the vote on Article 6, right? So Article 6 was the budget, the municipal budget. And this will be an opportunity for people to say why they think we should reconsider the vote on Article 6. And then there will be people who are saying why we shouldn't reconsider and we should keep it as it is. So I don't know exactly, is Susan on here? I was sort of hoping she would join.
No.
So at that point, it's less about like what the budget is and more about, do we want to take away the yes vote that we had on the budget? Do we want to reconsider it so that it's no longer that, so that we have to go back to the budget answer? So like I said in the last meeting, I think, you know, it would be a conversation such as some of the petitioners maybe saying, well, I felt like I really, you know, we didn't talk enough about it, or that I didn't get an opportunity when I wanted to, and you know, I felt like we didn't get a chance to really talk about this in depth, or I didn't understand, and so I would like an opportunity to revisit it. And then you'll have people say, well, I felt like we talked a lot about it and that we spent an hour and a half talking about this and that everyone had an opportunity. I mean, you're seeing this on Front Porch Forum. You're seeing people's, you know, comments like, go to Orca and watch it. You'll see, blah, blah, blah. So I think that's the kind of conversation that's going to happen. And then eventually, and people are going to want to talk about the budget at that. That's going to be the tricky part. People are going to want to talk about the budget itself. And I, truth be told, don't know if that's not a possibility. You know, and it will probably come up, right? And, you know, I'm sure that Susan will allow people to talk about it. But it's not an opportunity for us to say, I'd rather have the budget be this amount, or I'd rather this position be, you know, more hours, and I want that back in the budget. That's not that article. So between all that conversation, someone will eventually call a vote to say, do we want to reconsider the vote? And if the answer is, the majority is yes, and it may be that people want to do it on paper ballot, right? Because they're feeling like they don't want people to know or whatever, and that's fine too. They can ask for that. So if they say yes, and the majority says, yes, I want to reconsider the vote, then we move on to Article 2. If they say no, and the majority says, no, I don't want to reconsider the vote, the budget will stand as it was passed on town meeting day. And the meeting will be over. If it goes to Article 2, that's why the Budget Committee is meeting right now. Like they're meeting now, they're meeting on Thursday to get a better understanding from people as to, you know, what is it that you want to see in this budget, or what is it that's missing, or what is it that we need to add or take away. And because Article 2 does not have a dollar value put to it, there's going to be basically an immediate amendment to Article 2, which is I'd like to propose a budget of X number of dollars, and that's where you start. And that's where then the conversation will lead, where people will, you know, start asking questions about that budget. Well, what's in that 2 blah, blah, blah budget that you're doing? And maybe he presents, maybe Mark already says, this budget is what we came up with after talking with the public. This is what it includes. And so this is what I am proposing as an amendment, and would have to get, approved and seconded, and then you would move on with conversation. And then when you have that number, just like on Article 6 that we could have done, it could have changed, right? Like when Jeff Koons wanted to amend it to reduce X number of dollars, that those are the kinds of things that can then happen. So there may be enough people at the meeting who are like, I want to get to Article 2, right? Like I want to talk about this, and they'll say that yes, they want to vote on it. Or there may be enough people there that are like, I don't want to, I want to keep it the way it was. And they'll vote, no, I don't want to do this. So, I want you to all think, and the people who are watching the TV right now, or whenever you post this video, to think about, like, is there value to moving to Article 2, right? Is there, and so even if you're like, I love the budget that we passed on March 3rd, I'm going to vote no, but maybe you want to vote yes, because there's actually value to having a further discussion about why we may want more money or why we may want less money. So anyway, that's how I think it's going to happen, but I don't know. I don't know how many people are going to come. I know there's a baseball game, so there'll be parents at the baseball game that will not be voting. It's spring, right? So yes, Larry.
Just a hypothetical. I'm trying not so I can understand it. So we're going in. We get to Article 2. So yes, let's revisit the budget. We get to Article 2. There's no number. Someone makes the motion, or someone's going to have to come up with a number, whatever that is.
And that's what the budget committee's doing.
The budget committee is going to come up with that number?
Yeah.
For articles. So at what point does the select board get to review that?
We don't. I mean, he can present it to us because he thought he could. You guys, we don't get to vote on it because it's not in an article. So he can tell us this, like he can come to next meeting and say, we've got a number that we'd like to give.
But the people are going to know whether we're increasing the budget or subtracting the budget.
Yes, we will know there.
We'll know there. So what about all the different line item positions? So who makes that decision? Is that going to be just the budget committee? I thought the process was the select board had to approve.
Well, so normally you do. Like normally we have to approve a budget, but we don't have a budget number to approve. Matt, do you have something you want to say about it?
So my understanding is that the article, the second, if we get to the second article, just like with when we had town meeting day, what the town is approving is a budget of a certain amount, right? The line items, I think there's like some municipal, lawyers would be better on this, but no one's bound to those line items as they're written. The select board ultimately is responsible for administering this, but that's why we'd be approving a number, but the select board would then be.
Right. So the town meeting would tell the select board, this is your number, this is your X. At that point, with our next meeting, would we review that to see if we wanted to make any changes, or we would just go whatever the budget committee has allotted?
So this is what I had talked with Mark about as a possible scenario, is that after the budget committee meets, like they're meeting this Thursday, they could present to us on next meeting, which is the 5th or something. It's before before May 9th.
And Mark certainly attests.
Yeah. He's going to come to us and he's going to say, this is what we're thinking, and this is what the budget is. But at that meeting, we're not going to vote on that because it's not a number that's actually warned anywhere. So we're not approving anything in advance, but we're getting information.
Right. I'm talking about after. My hypothetical is after.
Oh, after the meeting?
After the meeting.
Yeah.
He's saying, what is the board response? What's the board? Yeah.
Well, he's going to present, so in order to come up with a number, you put it in a spreadsheet and you put names next to what you're paying for, right? Sure. And so, if that May 9th meeting, we're left with like a shell of what we had, we have the authority to broadly, like, look at what is in a budget for certain things and be able to say, well, we're gonna have to work with what we have here, and this is how we're gonna work with it, right? What we can't do is say, I'm gonna take the money for the sand and I'm gonna hire a town administrator because we didn't get our town administrator, right? We can't do that, but we can use our discretion about meeting the needs of the town with the money that is given to us in the budget.
So it determines what the budget committee puts in the budget. So if they don't put a town administrator in the budget, we can't create one afterwards. That's what you're saying?
If there's, I mean, that's a pretty big budget line item, so we probably would be hard pressed to even find the money for that. But I'm hoping they put it in, and I think they're going to put a town administrator in there.
I can't speak for the budget committee without it. I don't think we're going to be looking, I don't think the budget committee has any reason to believe we're going to come out with some number that's radically different than what was put forward. And I know during this previous session, which there's a recording of, there was a discussion of if we get to that second article, a potential budget that I didn't necessarily agree with that includes both addition, a town administrator position and expanded or additional hours for the assistant town clerk than what was the original. That was one thing that was discussed.
And the road commissioner.
There was no discussion of the road commissioner at the budget committee. Again, nothing's binding at this point, right? We've got to go to this special meeting on Thursday. That's where all these conversations are going to happen. We definitely need to get more input from the petitioners to understand what motivations are involved there. But there's been no conversation that I've seen that leads me to believe we're going to come back with 200,000 less or 200,000 a year.
But that could happen at the meeting if someone made a motion.
Absolutely.
And you had enough people to say, hey, my taxes are too high. I'm going to vote for that, right? Yeah. Okay, sorry, thank you for.
Shelley.
Right.
I want to sound like a broken record, but, and I can only speak for me since I wrote the petition or the first one, and talking to all the voters, but, and this all came about regardless of whether Susan saw my hand up to the whole Article 6, and not having a chance because of the administrator was there and not saying that this assistant town clerk was going down to 8 hours. That was the whole reason I wanted to speak before the town administrator. And I understand that you guys probably need one, but not going out the other, because I was worried about the girls in the office because I saw how it impacted the rest of the town. Mm-hmm. And I realized that both sides needed the help. Mm-hmm. And then when I went around with the petition, because of the way it was written in the town report, people didn't realize that it was going to go down to 8 hours, and that's what started the concern. Mm-hmm. And I think that, again, not realizing that, I'm not sure how to say this the right way, and what I would have said at the town meeting had they already voted on it. And then at the petition when never even started is that we had 2 bodies and them girls are struggling hard. And now we had 3 bodies with 8 hours a day. And like I said, over and over and over again, if we tabled it for a year with less of a budget, we might not have even had this conversation. And now I'm concerned that it's going to raise the budget a little bit and everybody's going to say, well, what is this doing? Because that's all I was trying to say is I realize you guys need help and they need help. And I wasn't trying to hurt anybody's feelings because I got respect for all the offices in this town because we all work hard. Mm-hmm. And I think the people do too. But what I got talking to all the folks is that they're so afraid of their taxes going up and so afraid of not having the town to support them that's how we ended up here, So it's like, whatever happens, happens. But that's what I got from talking door to door with these people is that everybody's worried about the same thing. Mm-hmm. And they didn't realize that we're going to lose someone to get the town administrator because now they're not going to have support on the other end. So that's kind of what I'm talking about from at least my perspective.
But I think it's a misnomer to say that we're, missing it. I don't want the town administrator to be focused on because we pulled so many different positions to fund that more than just Brenda's, mine as well.
I'm not even talking about Brenda, I'm just talking about getting the workload done in the office.
Right, and, right, and
us.
but the reason we need a town administrator is to do all of the workload from this 3-page, what we need as an administrator. So I just don't want to see the administrator position targeted, because we also have a new position in the road commissioner, and that's 20,000. And really, we pulled I know that it's a $70,000 position here, but we pulled so much money to make it so that it only added 30. And then there's this 20, and I know like you guys have a $10,000 fireproof thing that you need. I mean, I think there's a lot of budget items that should be looked at more than just targeting the administrator if we're gonna be shaving.
Liz, I'd like to respond.
Yes, Stacy.
Okay, sorry, but the computer decided to die just now. But I do have a concern about Shelley's comments, because Shelley said she posted on Front Porch Forum, I think on April 7th. And then she said now in the meeting that she believes she wasn't called on, despite having her hand up, while we were discussing Article 6. And like, right, I went back and watched the meeting today, and at like 1 hour, 37 minutes and 50 seconds, Zara tells Susan Clark that Shelley's hand has been up, and Susan Clark calls on Shelley, and Shelley speaks.
That was after it was voted on for the town administrator, yes. That was after.
No, that was before Article 6 was approved. It was in connection with an amendment to remove the administrator position, which ultimately failed. But to say that you weren't called on while Article 6 was at any point in time, while Article 6 was being.
That's not what I said. If you go back and all my Front Porch, that's not what I said.
I'd be happy to read what you said in the. I'm just waiting for my computer to boot up.
Okay, so this is actually not where I wanted this conversation to go.
Well, I don't think it's fair to the folks that are watching these videos and following Front Porch Forum to be fed what is inaccurate information. There is so much, there's so many people that are like, we want transparency, we want clarity. And it's like, yeah, I do. So if someone is saying I wasn't called on at any point while Article 6 was being debated, but this person was called on.
Yeah, no, I think Shelley admits that she was called on, and it was at the wrong, her request was at the wrong moment, because we were talking about something else. We weren't talking about.
Okay.
We were talking about an amendment. And that can be complicated when you're in a town meeting.
That's not what was said.
Being in the Front Porch Forum.
Stacy, I'm not gonna throw my back at you. There's been enough of that on Front Porch.
I had my hand, she said on March 29th, I had my hand raised until the article was voted on, but I was never called on to speak. And on Orca video at 1 hour and 48 minutes and 30 seconds, but she's called on.
She was kind of shut down, whatever you like.
Germaine.
Yeah, okay, guys.
We're not gonna go there.
Saying that
We're not gonna go there.
weren't called on, and clearly were. So okay. I just want to make sure
Stacey,
we can all agree that this guy is blue.
I'm not gonna be.
So the reason that I put this down as an article for discussion, not an article, but an agenda item, was just to be able to remind people about this sort of perplexing the meeting we're going to be having. It's not cut and dry, and I've never had a meeting like this. I don't know what it's going to be like. I hope that people are civil, and I hope that I have everything that will leave that meeting with a budget, whether it's the original budget or it is an adjusted budget. And okay, yeah, what does that say? Travis. Okay, Travis says, how can the board legally what? How can the board?
Do you make that bigger by any chance?
How can the board legally give up its responsibility to approve a budget without voter approval? No one voted for the budget committee to have that power. How is this legal? You know what? I don't know, Travis. I was just going by what our lawyer told us to do. I mean, I guess we could vote on the number that you're gonna propose. I don't, maybe you're right, Travis. Maybe that is something that I should do and I should ask Rob about that.
Just,
Because a number has to be proposed.
right, so if they propose a number to us, I think the townspeople that attend this meeting would want to know where the select board stands. I mean, you support this budget or you don't support this budget.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
The recommendation I've made to Mark is that we should share it to you in the scheduled meeting beforehand.
Yeah.
I think that you guys should comment on it.
I think we can even approve it though. I mean, now that I'm just thinking about this and what Travis said, we're not,
Because I think the stickiest point you get to is, if we vote yes on one, then we get to two, like who's deciding, who's proposing that first amendment?
right.
We want to avoid that scenario in that question. The board can be the one that's proposing a number.
Yeah, so maybe the board is the one that proposes it, yes.
So I just want to say that I think that Mark's working really hard to find a middle ground and that he's coming up with several different scenarios. And I think he's trying to fix this to where everybody's going, this thing happened. He's really, really working hard. He's having conversations with people and he's actually not just listening, people are feeling heard. So with that being said, I think there's support for knowing that you guys need a town administrator. But there's also the need to have, whether it's for a year, 2 years, or whatever, nobody knows, but there is some serious stuff that needs to be dealt with in this office. And I think he's aware of that more fully now, and they are. And, I wasn't involved in the conversations with cutting that position down to 8 hours. And I invite somebody to come in here and spend an 8-hour day. Especially, I invite them to come on May 20th to spend an 8-hour day. Because it's a mess, but I really think that everybody should really consider that your kids are going to schools with your neighbors, kids, and everybody else. And I'm wondering if we have to have security at this meeting.
No.
You don't think so? I mean, and then, it just seems like everything's getting like so intense. And by reading all this stuff on the front porch forum, I'm just like, oh my God. I mean, who's going to control it if somebody gets all tweaked out?
Okay, wait, so I want to send this email to Rob right now. What is the question I'm asking for?
Well, I think the question is whether a article seeking to establish a budget not specifically warned within the article would meet the requirements of the warning and notice requirements. Hold on, I'll give you the statute.
Basically, the select board has a responsibility to approve the budget, not the budget committee. So how not to give.
I think so. The issue is at least as I see it, and I think this is kind of what Matt is talking about and similar, and also Larry. For the Vermont statute, it's I think it's 17 BSA or 12 BSA, section 2642, warning and notice contents. A2 says, or the first one is the warning has to include the date and time of the election, nature of the meeting or election. And then the second component is it shall, by separate articles, specifically indicate the business to be transacted to include the offices and the questions to be voted upon. And so my concern is having is Article 2 specific enough to withstand, would a budget approved under Article 2 as worded withstand scrutiny under the specificity required of such warnings, right? We have to tell everybody in a public warning what we're going to do. And so if we pass a budget, if the warning is we're gonna wing it, workshop a new budget, we're not gonna tell you what that budget might look like or what it is that allowed? I frankly don't quite think it is. but I would defer to Rob, who is our town council, you know, to the extent, I assume he was provided and approved of Article 2 as drafted before you circulated that to us.
He was the one who wrote it.
Okay, so then, you know.
So, I mean, I have to assume that he put some thought into it.
Yeah, because otherwise it seems like rather ambiguous, and I just think there's, and I say that also in the context of like when other towns have had their budgets challenged or reconsidered in this petition process, they generally involve a lot of meetings. Like, you know, you vote to have a meeting whether to reconsider the budget. You know, and then they would warn another meeting to reconsider, to vote upon a new budget. Like typically this would take a couple months to play out.
A new drafted budget.
Right. And there was some confusion at the last meeting too, like, does our government just shut down? What do we do? And the answer is like, there's 9 different circumstances where the select board can borrow funds without the approval of the voters under like very specific circumstances. One includes like, if we have if we have expenses, like we need to pay payroll or whatever bills are coming up, like so long as the loan is for a period of like not more than 1 year, we can take out basically as much money as we need. Like we can take out a loan to pay our bills until a budget gets passed and we can like issue taxes. So that's kind of the fallback. Like nothing, I found no legal precedent for like the old budget just persists. That's not, I don't think that's what happens. It's just like until we get a budget and if we still have bills to pay in the interim, like we take out a loan. We're allowed to do so. So there's that. If Rob drafted Article 2 and he, you know, endorses it, like fine. Lawyers can have different opinions about things too. I think like it's possible if there was a particularly litigious neighbor who doesn't like the fact that a budget's getting passed, like a budget is passed, discussed, negotiated and approved without anyone knowing exactly whether the budget's going to go up or down from the first budget that was approved. Like, I don't know. They might be able to like bring a claim if they're particularly aggrieved with the outcome or not.
So Travis wants to know if Rob knows the board is not approving the budget.
That's what I'm asking him right now.
Liz, man.
Yeah. And just so you guys know, sorry, we're all like new with this.
Yes.
None of us have any idea what we're doing. So we're just like, as the plane is being flown, we're building it, but yes, go ahead.
The terms good. I think, but I can't speak for at least as one member of the budget committee. I really want to avoid this being the budget committee is putting together a budget that's going to be on special art too. Like that's not the messaging we want here.
Agreed.
Right.
And that's not what the budget meeting wants to be in a position to do. We can't do that. And I know Mark would want to say he's the one putting together the budget, but for a backup here, the budget committee is facilitating a meeting where we're going to discuss this. The budget committee is in a good position to put together a set of line items of the budget. We'll take the town input from that. We'll present it, recommend it, but that we're not giving you guys or giving the town your options on that. That can't be something living.
Can I just say something in defense of Shelley a little bit? It's not like we were all in these meetings at the 11th hour, adding $2 on that salary or a few hours on that. These conversations were very fluid up until it was finally passed. And then it was immediately warned. And I don't think that Shelley is saying that she has yes, she might have a desired outcome, but the thrust of her argument is, I didn't feel heard. I would like a little bit more time for the group to revisit this. I would have offered an amendment had I been called on. Let's look at this again. I don't think that she's looking at this to become an adversarial or a meeting where we would anticipate that anyone would throw the baby out with the bathwater. This is just looking at something again from a reasonable perspective. And we're all neighbors and we all want the best thing for the town. I don't think that
I think that I think the budget meeting is gonna go great on the 23rd. I think the town meeting on the 9th is gonna go fine. We're all adults.
Liz,
Yes.
I did say it a couple of times, no offense, I heard Cheryl say it, or Shelley say it, now I've heard you say it, that we didn't discuss this. We were.
It's not,
let me-
Let him finish.
And then you can disagree with what I said. But my point of what I'm trying to say is, we discussed this in several meetings at this committee. And all of you, and I know Bridget was sitting over there where Matt's sitting right now.
I know.
For those meetings. And I didn't hear much from you, Bridget. I know Cheryl, you did speak up a couple of times. And I know Shelley attends the meetings. We discussed this at nauseam in this meeting, what to do. And we had Brenda here. She got upset. There were a lot of emotions during that time. So we can't meet separately and discuss this like we had a little secret meeting about it. It was discussed in the open.
Let him finish, please.
And brought to town meeting and warned. Everyone had the opportunity. We took input from Shelley. We took input from Cheryl. And we took input from Brenda. But the point I'm trying to make is this was discussed at meetings for a long time. And this is what the board's decision was. This is what we presented. Okay. Yes, the town members get to go to town and ask questions. And Shelley, if she didn't get called on appropriately, I haven't watched the video, but she should have been able to talk. But at the same time, this is been talked about ad nauseum as far as I'm concerned.
I agree.
Thank you, Brent.
Bridget, I think
Bridget,
that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Shelley did say that she would like to make the change, but it was proven not to be germane at that point, and she had already been called on, and she wasn't able to be called on again. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I really.
Well, I do think once someone calls to end discussion and the group as a whole agrees to that is the decision of the group. So despite my opinion, I'd love to speak more. Well, if the group votes that there is no more conversation, that's the decision of the group, which then moves it forward. So there is, there are Robert's rules that basically end it, despite what you think you'd still like to, or someone would like to say or not. That's what Robert's rules are for.
I understand.
And you know what I have to say? Thank God we still live in a country that in my mind is falling apart, but we still have this opportunity to have an opportunity to revisit a budget, because there are many countries in this world where this would never be able to happen. And our country isn't that far from it. So I say, thank God that we're having a meeting on May 9th, because it shows that we still have some democracy left in this country.
Shit. I'd like to move on.
Steve, I don't know who Steve is. Steve, who are you and what is your name and first and last name?
Oh, this is Steve Dennis. You guys know me.
Steve Dennis.
But since I love the fact that you just brought democracy in this country, because the Supreme Court has actually ruled very thoroughly on this issue. If somebody has an opposing dissenting view, you can't actually close the floor. Everybody with a dissenting view has to be allowed to speak before you can actually legally close the floor. Otherwise, you're violating the First Amendment.
Thank you, Steve.
That's Robert's rule.
Yes.
Well, and I think that's where I got confused talking to Susan Clark, is that she asked me if I wanted to amend it again. And I said, yes. So she said, after everybody got done talking, that I could. And that's when I was going to add kind of to Jeff Combs what I was going to say. And then it got closed, so I couldn't. So I wasn't sure. Okay. I was a little confused. I wasn't sure how to do that because they had closed the discussion.
So, which I'd love to close this discussion and wait until May 9th.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so let's just talk about a few of the other business here. I don't know why I put the reminder of a morning meeting on an evening one, but I guess I was so excited about it. So we already had that. So we have the April 28th, is that right? Public hearing? Yeah. Okay, so we have the public hearing. That's regarding the upgrading the class 4 section of the South Bear Swamp Road to a class 3. And I'm going to post that warning on Front Porch Forum just as a reminder to people about that meeting. So it starts at 5 o'clock at like the
Is it the plow turnaround?
yeah, it's like where the plow turnaround is. I don't know that we'll walk all the way. It's a long walk.
And you won't do it in an hour unless we're,
Yeah, I know, unless we're
you know,
booking it.
unless we're there to walk.
I know.
Yeah.
And which we may be, right? I mean, I think that we may be able to get a good enough sense, at least to go to the culvert, you know, that place on the road.
Well, I think it's important to at least go past the original 0.3.
Yes.
And a little bit into
Yes,
at least
me
the
too.
0.5 to
Yes.
get a,
Yeah, because
at least get a good enough.
you can see it's a pretty small road
Yeah.
and there's a big culvert there and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So, and that got totally washed out. There's some big rocks and all that. So, and then we'll come back to our cars and we'll drive back here. And at that time, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't clear to me from Rob. I think I have to present all the letters that are giving to us. Like, we're not supposed to have conversations with anyone before this public hearing, right? So people are sending us notes of like, oh, I'm for this, I'm against it, or whatever. And I'm going to present those at the meeting and read them into the meeting.
Oh, fun.
Unless the person is there and they want to do it. But like, you know, the Bridenstines have a letter. They're not going to be here, so I'll have to read it into the public.
Mike Klein. MCC, will those letters be read in or?
Yes, yeah, so those all, and they're long, right? So this is gonna take a while. But unless like Sandy comes and she wants to just, you know, highlight it, but they'll be available for people to see, a paper copy for people to see.
So what you're saying is we need to bring snacks.
Yes, we need lots of snacks.
and walking shoes.
And walking.
And your walking shoes, yes. But we don't vote on anything at that meeting, just so everybody knows. We have, and our lawyer, Rob, was looking at the time frame. It's either 30 or 60 days that we have to respond to the public hearing with our decision. So we don't, like, you know how in
It's like the DRB. We have our hearing, we take evidence, we close.
Okay.
30 or 45.
And do you meet again?
No. We decide, like, we deliberate.
You deliberate after the meeting.
And then we have like post-meet, like deliberations continue as a decision is finalized in the event that there's like conditions or whatever, so.
Right, because it's sort of like a board of civil authority too, like we deliberate right there at the meeting. And then we have a written finding or written response that we send later.
So I guess that's the question for Rob, like procedurally, are we entitled to a deliberative session following the hearing? Since it's slightly like.
I think so.
I like it.
You know what else I have to do is there's gotta be instructions on how to run this meeting because.
Well, we've done it before, so there's gotta be some guidance.
Right. Somewhere there's guidance, like the Board of Civil Authority meeting has like literally 2 pages of like, step 1, you do this, step 2, you do that. So I don't know what those.
Well, we have laws and rules for class 4 maintenance, upgrading. Yeah, there must be. There has to be.
Okay, and I think it might just be actually somewhere on the League of Cities and Towns, how to run a public hearing.
I was gonna look it up for you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so, and then, I should have put the May 7th meeting, but that was already up there, May 9th rather. Okay, so reminder that I'm gone from May 10th to July 20th. And so Zara and I are gonna be meeting to start pulling together some agendas because there's some things that are gonna happen while I'm gone, like setting the tax rate, right? That's done before July 1, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Right, so I have to look back on my agendas from last year to see like, what did I do during the summer that were like things that were required? But Bridget and Cheryl, it's gonna be important that you guys are communicating with her if anything, comes up.
Yeah, I'm gonna need help.
Yeah, she's gonna need help with what goes on the agenda. I mean, I have a template. I go to the same one I've always done. But I go to the same one that I've always done. Like, I know that on the second Tuesday, the fire department comes, right? And that there's always gonna be a treasurer's update and a town clerk's update. But then there's gonna be usually like 2 things on the thing that are a little different, like Kevin presenting. And that's because someone's asked me. They've literally said, can you put this on the agenda? Okay. So it's not like we have to come up with things, like things are gonna be sent to you to say, can we put this on the agenda? And then, but I think in terms of like like stuff that is mandatory that has to get done. The tax rate is one thing, but is there anything else I'm not thinking of? I think it's just gonna be regular Joe stuff like this, right? Like, oh, CVRPC wants to come in and talk about something,
And
right?
you've already taken care of the hazard mitigation with everything.
The length is already done. That was due June 1st, so that's done. And yeah, and it's just gonna be little things like this, right?
Sandy's trying to get you and I to some meeting.
I think it was either you or me, and I think she suggested you because of the roads, that we need one select board member. But like, that might be something you put on here as a, report, right, of what you did. Yes.
Just to say, my husband's having hip replacement on
What?
May 1st.
You're gonna be out.
So I have to be with him for 3 days after.
Yeah.
But I have to be there the day before. Because.
Well, of course you do.
No, you have to wash everything in your house and your bed linen, your blankets and your sheets, your pillows, you have to have everything.
Everything has to be like complete.
And then he has to take a shower and all the special stuff.
Yeah.
And crawl into bed and take a shower and get in this morning.
I did that
While you wash the sheets.
but I didn't have to wash all my sheets. Oh, yes, I did. They did say fresh.
My washing machine comes out in balance all the time, so you put a blanket in there and it shakes the whole house. So I've got to do like 3 blankets.
Okay, so you'll be out, but that's okay. Okay, so I'll go back and we'll look at the past agendas anyway, just make sure there's something.
I'll
pull the agendas from that time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, and
They're
let's see.
on the website too.
So Stacy, did you have something else?
I had two
Yeah.
other things. The first one was just the Thursday special meeting with the budget committee that's being held at Romney. I wanted to know, like, I was thinking about attending, but if other people were like, I really want to spend like my Thursday evening with the budget committee and friends at Romney, like, just to be mindful that, if there's more than 2 of us that do go.
It's more about decision making. You can't make decisions. You can hang out together. You just can't make decisions.
Okay, so then it's just like, I think I may go just to be a potted plant on the wall. I have no desire to like engage in the conversation, but I feel like there's a lot to learn from that dialogue.
Yeah.
And
this is a warned meeting, so it's totally fine. That if every one of us wanted to go to that meeting, we could.
Right.
I would go, except I can't. You can't talk about other stuff that is unrelated to that. You can ask questions. But you're a member of the public because you're not on the committee.
Yep.
But yeah, I would actually.
I'm zooming in because.
I would recommend everybody go. I can't. I've got 2 things happening that night that are work related that I can't get out of.
Okay.
So
like,
yes.
I'm a tentative yes. Paul, it sounds like he's a
I'm gonna zoom in.
yes. Larry's tentative. Maybe I'll just bring more snacks.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to watch the video.
The second question just had to do with correspondence that I received today, actually. It was from a Middlesex resident in the context of like one of the recent Front Porch Forum threads about the town administrator position. And this individual said to me, quote, "What have you done to help other than sitting in a meeting twice a month?" End quote. And so my question is like, how do we as a board want to respond to that? Because if this individual thinks that my work on the select board involves sitting in a meeting twice a month, eating bonbons, then.
Well, you do eat bonbons.
I
biscuits.
I eat biscuits.
Biscuits and treats, yeah.
But, it's just, I think like, I want to reframe that as like, it shouldn't be treated as like an individual invective. It certainly feels like that because it's correspondence that was directed to me personally. But, that sort of insinuates that there's some folks in the community that think that we select board members should do nothing but sit in meetings twice a month. And so.
This person just randomly sent you a message?
There's more context, but the relevant point was that there's clearly a belief that I just sit in a meeting.
Do you want me to respond to that as the chair?
No. I don't necessarily know, like, it's why I wanted some feedback. Like, do I post like, here are all the things that I've done in the past year? Here's all the things that the board has done in the past year. Do we have like a listening session for?
Is this person asking you to respond? Like, is this a question or is this just an accusation?
To participate in what was clearly an intention to like escalate the dialogue.
Right.
You know, and it started from a point of curiosity of just like, wow, like I agree, like participation is so essential. You know, but it sounds like some people don't think that, you know, what we do qualifies as counts as participation in some way. I'm not sure. So yeah, I was, you know, do we start like tracking our time? Do we feel like we even have to, you know, respond to that kind of allegation? It was just really.
It doesn't sound like an allegation. What it sounds like to me was that there was some.
Travis says, yes, Liz, please respond.
Zara was also,
But it sounds to me like, I don't know, at some point there needs to be a line drawn in the sand. Maybe just for an informational thing at some point, maybe somebody needs to post what select board does. Or post the statutory duties or something, you know what I mean? And I don't think you have to engage one-on-one. I don't think you don't sit.
I would be careful engaging one-on-one.
Yeah,
I
I can speak from experience on the road foreman side. During my tenure, in these positions, road foreman or select board included, any public official, really, anybody involved with the town. Someone can easily become a keyboard warrior and create a narrative that they can just cast out there to the public. For me, in my experience, since 2009 with the town, engaging in some of that is just lowering yourself to mindless back and forth. And I don't discredit your feelings on it, but a lot of times people are a lot more bored than we are. And I feel like if they knew.
They don't take it personally.
Right, and that's.
I was a little sad, but I think it's also like, how do we, you know, how can we as a board like engage with these? Because this is.
Well, you know what I think is a great idea, like what you guys did, like you and Larry did, like have a thing at the Red Hen or wherever, there's nothing now there anymore, but like just having a listening session for people, like being out there. And I know you guys do that already, like you do respond to people one-on-one when they have, you know, questions and to stay engaged with people. But you're right. I mean, I could go on and on about someone that says 10 pages worth of criticisms about me, right? And I mean, if I responded to them, I'd be spending hours responding, right? Literally.
As would our lawyer.
And you know, and so I can't, and so I choose that, you know, I can't respond to that.
I think what we need in the future is for all of us to be more upfront with, well, no, just to be conversing, you know, to be communicating more with the town. And I think when we have a town administrator, that we should have like a weekly write-up of this is what is done, you know, by this committee, that committee, how committees are working together to better the community. I think that if people out there were fed the information of all the things that we did on a more regular basis, that they would know how many hours we spend twice.
And I don't disagree, Zara, but people will only take in the information that they read. And if they, it's no different than the Front Porch Forum posts or something like that, or things that we talk about publicly here in these meetings, if those folks choose not to A, attend, B, watch, or C, read the meeting minutes, you know,
participate.
Really, for lack of a better word, and I'm not accusing folks of that, but if you opt to not insert yourself in some degree, shape, or form to keep up with relevant information that's public, I'm not going to take ownership of that. It's out here black and white too.
Yeah. People need to be fed information.
I don't disagree, but it's more for me, even if you put it out there.
Just a little blurb. You know, and I think.
You know, I think the budget committee has started doing more of the.
I can't tell you how many times I've opened Front Porch Forum and went, thank God nobody said a word today.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I'm serious, I am so sick of it. There's so much misinformation. There's good information. There's misinformation. There is AI information. There is just all, and it just needs to stop. And I keep coming back to you. Your kids probably go to school with somebody else's kids, everybody else.
Small town.
Everybody's just gonna get along.
So there's two questions. Will Orca be broadcasting the main?
Yeah, thank you, Sandy. why don't I email Orca right now about, there was the other one. What was the other one that
28th?
I don't know how to get in touch with Orca. Do you know Orca's email?
Yeah. And we didn't answer,
Sir.
we didn't collectively answer Stacy's question.
Yeah, so Stacy, I think that, you know, I agree with Paul, that if you respond, you're just gonna get into some sort of bizarre little like, you know, match with this person. I don't know who this person is. If you want, I mean, if you're looking for something like a general like post on Front Porch Forum of, you know, people have asked what we do, right? Here's what it's like to be a select board member. You know, I can do that. If you think that would be like, if that might like, you know.
It wouldn't hurt, and honestly, I think, again, any communication is good communication with the town. They want to hear from us.
I mean, I can do that, like, just from, you know, my own, like, from my own perspective. It's like, you know, it seems, you know, somebody.
But then it makes it about you.
Yeah.
Well, like, but
It's gotta
it's
be about the group.
Oh, here, you want me to grab it?
like, as a select board member, and so then maybe it does make sense that it comes from the chair, but like, in the past year, like, what have we dealt with, you know, like, we've reviewed the law, like, there's been all of this behind the scenes work for like the purchasing policy, for understanding the brownfields and the FEMA buyouts, for, you know, addressing the road reclassification issue and all of the statutes around that and all of the processes around that. Like, there's been, you know, a number of things that have required time and attention. Many of these things would have been alleviated or done by a select board assistant had we had one. But I think that's another big component, is that like in last year, like, we have not had a designated select board assistant and have had to assume, you know, the lion's share of all of those duties that Sarah had been doing previously. Also, which is sort of explains the lack of PR from the select board. Like, you know, Sarah did a lot of, she did a lot of publicity for the select board on Front Porch Forum, as well as, I assume, just in like her clerkly duties. And we haven't had that. So.
She loved to write.
Yeah, she did have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have an author,
Yeah.
you know, who was doing like as our communications director.
Right. I mean, and I will say, you guys, that there was a time, and it was really pre-flood, that you didn't have to do if you weren't chair, you didn't have to do that much work. You had to show up to your meetings, you had to read your stuff, you had to make decisions, right? But that was a long time ago.
Budget was the biggest.
Yeah,
It was really the only.
thing, right? You know,
And I think we still could, if as a group, we didn't all believe that this town needs better things and should have better things, and
Well, some of
like,
that lack of involvement
right,
contributed to where we are today.
Right, exactly. Now we desperately need to move forward, or.
I also think there's a heightened, like, there's more planning, more action items needed to do what we're doing in compliance with open meeting law, in compliance with ethics laws, in compliance with statutes governing our, you know, legislative body, which, you know, I think, like, I value that aspect in this board, and I think it's also contributing to why you know, there's just more to do, because we can't have secret clandestine meetings where we talk about these things.
Stacy from Macy could attend like a 2005 board meeting and hear how the conversations, voting, and lack of warned issues were addressed. Her head would probably pop. No joke.
I mean, like, I've got claims for other Vermont towns where we're dealing with the backlash of towns that have done that, like in my attorney life. So, yes, I wouldn't recommend that that process. But also, I know that there's a big difference between what the law says and what people actually do. So. I think this board is very like above board, and I respect that.
Good.
But a lot of work that goes along with it.
So, and lift maintenance. So I signed this thing, and so can you guys make a motion that I approve the lift maintenance? We're gonna get back to.
Yeah, it has to be inspected though. So our lift, he looked at it today. It's working. It's fine. There was a small
barrier piece attached to the bottom door, so the door sticks. So, we're gonna get it inspected, and I have a phone number for the folks who are gonna come fix the door.
Okay.
But this is just to approve the cost of the inspection, not for fixing of the door.
Yeah, and
So
it's
we'll get-
425, so really you don't need to also approve it either.
required-
But I've signed it.
Yeah, we're required to do it.
Yeah, okay, so I don't think we need to motion for that.
No, it-
But guys, hold on, I just need to ask, do we want to invite Orca to the budget meeting on the 24th at Rumney?
28th.
It's the Thursday, the 23rd?
Yeah. And
Yeah, today's 21st.
I don't see why we wouldn't invite
I
them.
think that would be great, so
Yeah,
that people have
If
the
they
opportunity.
can't attend, then.
Right, okay, so Thursday, what time is that at, Matt?
5 o'clock.
And it's at Rumney, right?
Rumney, and we were initially talking about the library, but I
Okay.
moved it to the gym, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Rumney
Gonna be there.
School Gym.
And then
Dorinda wanted to
town meeting.
And then.
For a special, okay, yeah, for a special budget meeting, okay.
Yeah.
Right,
Hold on,
I have no idea.
there's 3 things.
This
It's April 28th,
This isn't something.
Yeah,
fair thing, how are they gonna film on?
they're not gonna film on South Fair,
Cheryl, the decision
I
budget
think
does
this
have
is
to
too.
be
yeah.
televised.
Well, no, they'll come here more than 6 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Which I think they should.
So
6 or 6.
it is,
Yeah, I mean,
it's recorded or not?
it's above.
Yes.
It does.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on, everybody, okay,
So how does the Zoom happen then?
We were gonna have some equipment there. I wasn't clear on the details side of it.
I have this ridiculous thing.
Did you guys just talk about the microphones?
No, that's not for.
Okay, wait, hold on, guys.
Meeting,
No, I need to finish
For May
this.
oh,
9th.
that's fine.
I need to finish, I have to remember what we
Matt's out
said.
there, so you don't think.
No.
What are we doing? It's for the April 24th meeting, Tuesday,
That's more.
April 28th at 6 o'clock
Just being right.
at
Oh, that's.
Town Hall, Middlesex Town Hall.
I'm just like.
We're supposed to start that shit.
For a public hearing.
And then Saturday.
And then Saturday, May 9th, for a special town meeting. Town meeting to discuss
And I'm like, you know that, that's sort of, you have to ask when they start.
Sorry.
I will take care of that.
Thursday, April 23rd. Yeah, at Rumney School.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be able to.
And Tuesday is at April 28th at 6 at the Middlesex Town Hall for a public hearing. And then Saturday, May 9th for a special town meeting to discuss the municipal budget at Rumney School. Jim. All right, so Sandy, I've asked them to come to all of them.
May I make a motion, or do you want to make that motion?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, any seconds?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.